This is Lansdowne Road, the voice of the fans, and tonight we are talking about Evan Ferguson's Serie A debut, plus a first win for Keith Andrews' Brentford in the Premier League. And also we've got the latest and greatest, I suppose, news around, and the OBIG. Yes, I am drowning in this intro. It's Lansdowne Roar, it is live. What's next? God. That was a ropey intro. David Dunn here, joined by Conor McAteer, and you are very welcome, you lovely, wonderful people, joining us for the latest edition of Lansdowne Roar Live. Actually, before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. There you go. That's a bit better now. Yeah, David Dunn here, joined by Conor McAteer, and you're very welcome. This is, well, it's my first one back for a little bit. Finally back in London. Conor's back in Moran. We're both away, so we're a little bit rusty. Had a few technical issues, so apologies for the delay on that. Now, actually, just before we get going, don't forget, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the YouTube, to the Facebook, to the Instagram, and the Twitter, and head over to lansdowneroad.ie, lansdowneroad.ie for opinion. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube, please. And if you want a little bit more raw, you know, a little bit extra raw, you can head over and you can get some Raw Plus. That is available. That is our YouTube offering. An extra couple of podcasts a week. We got Raw Retro. We also do a World Football podcast called State of Play. And there's a lot to unpack on that coming up this week, of course. So, yeah, you know, if you want to support the channel, it's a great way to do it as well. It's $4.99 wherever you are per month. Conor, how are you doing? God.
I'm good.
Bit of turbulence there in that intro.
Yeah, it was a bit like the landing Madeira last week. It's a bit shaky on the ropes, but no. Anyway, I'm good. It's good to be back on. It felt weird being away for what was the week of us not uploading. It felt wrong. It felt like we were doing the Raw Faithful unjust by not uploading, but everyone needs to get their holidays, and it was good to get away for a couple of days and reset. But yeah, and you forgot to mention it's the last week, with it in turn being it is the last week the transfer window, isn't it? Which means it's the last week of our giveaway, possible enter our giveaway for the Evan Ferguson Roma jersey. Obviously, we had his debut last night, which caused a lot of excitement, and I'm sure everyone liked the jersey. So if they want to get their hands on the jersey, you can possibly win an Evan Ferguson jersey by signing up to Raw Retro by the end of this month. And I have some content planned around the international break that we'll be putting up on that as well. That's going to be extra content that will help, will show people a good value for their money as well, because it's going to be a huge couple of months coming up, Dave, isn't it? And it's going to be our prime of Ireland winning matches, and I think last weekend was just an indicator, or this weekend, sorry, was an indication of what's to come over the next couple of months for Irish football.
Absolutely. Of course, the squad is announced on Tuesday. Conor and Martin will have a program for you on that, so don't forget. And of course, the international window coming up, as Conor rightly says, there's nowhere else to go, is to Conor. Then Lansdowne Roar, we have you covered. We're going to the matches. Well, I hope so anyway. We haven't had our media passes secured just yet. We hope. But yeah, we'll be going to the two games anyway, going to Armenia, going to Dublin. Fantastic. Actually, just back there from one of our destinations we're going to in November, Budapest. I'll tell you what, that's a God. Yeah, I had fun in Budapest this morning. Literally just flew in this morning, Conor. And yeah, for some reason, when I go to Hungary, they think I'm Hungarian. And they literally were, yes, when I was going through security, the lady in security was barking instructions at me in Hungarian. I just looked at her and went, I'm Irish. What are you saying? Oh, I went to the WA Smith. They're everywhere. And this woman was behind the counter. So, you know, I thinking, you know, I don't want to annoy her. I'll go to, I'm a good lad. I will go to the, you know, the self-service thing.
Yeah.
And she started shouting at somebody like in Hungarian, right? I was like, oh, she must be talking to somebody in the distance anyway. Next of all, she comes flying out from behind the counter, comes over to where I am by the self-service thing, doing a great job as they always do, starts banging, like, presses a button on it, almost puts her fucking hand through the screen, and then says something else to me in Hungarian, and goes back behind a little counter. I'm like, what? Yeah, just fun. weird, strange people. But yeah, we're going there in November as well. I've got a fly flying around here. Also,
I'm going there.
Sorry,
I'm going there in 2 weeks.
you're going to Budapest in 2 weeks as well. I'll
Because
give
that's
you
the
some.
flight. That's where I'm flying. That's where I'm flying through when I'm going to Armenia. So I have a day in
Well,
Budapest. It's not really, but I'm not. Well, I'm not going to. I might probably won't hang around the airport all day because it's a long wait in Budapest. So I'll probably walk to see where.
it's about a 30-minute taxi journey. It'll take you about 50 minutes to get into the city centre through the 100E or the 200E. There you go. See, that's what we do here. Anyway, yeah, so lots to talk about, Conor. Loads of stuff going on, Irish football. And to be fair, for once, most of it good. Probably the best place. It was, wasn't it? Best place to start. There he is there. Evan Ferguson making his Serie A debut. And a very old, that looks like the Spanish jersey from 2010. But yes, or 2008. But yes, Evan Ferguson made his Serie A debut against Bologna in a 1-0 win. And he got man of the match. I'm not saying they're player of the match nonsense. Man of the match, Conor, performance. You watched him. You said some things about him on... Well, it's not about him.
They can't.
No, we can't repeat that. But let's just say Conor was very excited by Evan Ferguson's performance. I was kind of reading. I was sort of in bed because I had an early flight, and I was like, "That's no." But yeah, he's very impressive. 74 minutes. He had
70, 72, 73, whatever it was around 70 anyway. It was past the stage where it's not getting hooked because when you said 60 minutes, sometimes that's the prime hook time. But yeah, I would like to apologise to Roma fans for the rest of the season, as now pretty much every single game Evan Ferguson is going to win man of the match because may or may not be quote tweeting that tweet, but they say vote for your man of the match, and I say I vote for Ferguson. And then a load of people just started retweeting. It was retweet. It's like a retweet the tweet if you think this player is man of the match. So then all Irish people have done the Ferguson. So we helped our boy get man of the match in the open game of the season. He was good. You didn't watch? No, you were. So it was all.
Didn't watch it live. There was nowhere for me to watch it live, but I did go back and watch a highlight package of himself. He looked good. He looked sharp. He should have had an assist. Really, could have had a couple of goals there as well. Yeah, he's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah. I thought I put out in a personal account saying I forgot how good at football Evan Ferguson was. That was the reality. I actually forgot how good he was because the little things he was doing, yes, that were just such an elite level. His first touch, his hold up play, his ability to link play, even for a player of his size, even the chance he had. The chance he had, the chance he had straight away where he beat a man. He took him on the half turn and then he went past another defender and he shot. It was a weak shot. He probably should have done better with the finish, but it wasn't like a simple chance. It's just little things like that. And then, as you said, he maybe could have hoped he would have done better with the second finish he had from the edge of the box. It was kind of straight at the keeper, but I just thought he was excellent. That assist he had, yeah, that was top. It was top class. It just showed his. Because a lot of strikers you see just are so hungry for goals, but it showed his football brain, his football IQ. He floated it into Kone at the back stick, and you have to say that was one of the misses of the seasons from Kone, because as well as Kone as a good player, as you could tell his quality, and him and Ferguson linked up so well yesterday. The two of them were playing proper one-touch football with each other, and it's going to be you can tell it's going to be a real partnership for the rest of the season. It's just a pity he didn't score that chance, because it would have been probably the icing on top of the cake for Ferguson. And like I put a tweet out yesterday saying how well I thought he was, and I've never seen so much positivity towards an Irish player's really performance overall. Like everyone was saying how good he was, and they forgot how good of a player. I think everyone just forgot how good he was, Dave, and the way he looked so fit yesterday compared to what it was last season. He was covering ground with ease. He didn't really seem to struggle that much. Obviously the natural tiredness kicked in, and I was very impressed with, even when the tiredness kicked in, he was using his body so well to draw fouls and so to play down a bit and kind of play the game at his pace, which sometimes strikers can lack once the tiredness kicked in. And you could see the pitch was very heavy. Yes, I don't know if you could see replays on but you could see the pitch was quite heavy and quite bobbly.
He's also got to get used to playing in a hot country as well.
Yeah,
like,
and
Brighton isn't very warm.
No, and Gasparini was very impressed with him. Roma fans were very impressed with him. He's now the first Irish player to ever play in the League of Ireland, the Premier League, and the Serie A, which is no mean feat. And he's I think a lot of people are starting to get really excited again about Ferguson. I think it's just the reality is that he's gone to a league where he's instantly gone in and gone to a top side. You're going to be playing European football. And one of the most impressive things or important things is the fact he didn't just come off after 60 minutes, and Dobbik didn't just come on after 60 minutes. Gasperini left him on as long as possible and took him off after 70 minutes, because it kind of shows that he was very impressed by Ferguson, and he can offer that team so much. And I think them goals are gonna really just start to flow in now, because there's no way a player, you can even see like his ball striking ability, just the way he hits a football, you just see he's a top class player, and I can't wait to see how it goes.
You can always tell with a really tippy top player, the zip, when he had the zip, the way he hit the ball, the way he, like a midfielder, the passing. Keane had it. Roy Keane had it. That zip, the way he just hit the ball forward. I'll tell you what, I was watching Fulham and United today. Jesus Christ, that gave me jet lag. That did. A lot of players missing that zip, that quality on the ball. And you can always tell with a striker, his movement, the way he also strikes the ball. And yeah, he was very impressive. Yeah, that cross into the box, really. I don't know how your man didn't score. It was absolutely fantastic.
And Wesley, who scored the goal yesterday, he took a shot yesterday, which was a simple through ball. All I had to do was play it through to Evan, and Evan would have been 1-1 with the keeper. I'm not going to say he was going to score, but when there's a pair of Evan Ferguson's ability, you'd expect it. It's at least a 60% chance he would have scored. But yeah, it's a pity he didn't finish that, or he didn't get that chance, because it would have been the icing on top of the cake.
No, it would have been, absolutely. But like, fantastic debut for him, and fans love him already. So brilliant stuff. So very, very delighted. And I loved, and it's in Budapest last night. Some of the lads, maybe they're watching, maybe they're not, maybe they'll watch tomorrow. And they were giving him. And I told them, I said, when he gets the Ballon d'Or this year, you're not going to celebrate it. Oh no, I'm not going to allow it. Anyone who badmouthed Evan Ferguson, I'm not going to allow it, Conor. I'm going to shut that down, just like that. Anyway, but there you go, Evan Ferguson, Serie A, and long may he continue. Just needs to get a few goals on the board, especially coming into the September.
Especially when we have a record breaker in our squad after what happened on Thursday night with Troy Parrott. So it's going to be real interesting to see who is our number 9, which will go to our squad that we want to see picked on Tuesday. But yeah, it's going to be real competition for the striker places now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Hungary as well. Like that's the team that we're going to be competing with for second place, you'd imagine. Hungary. So who starts? Will it be
it's pity. Is Martin not on because Ferran Forest lost to Karabag the other night at home 3-1?
Yeah, but well, Martin was. I think he was with all the other United fans in London. They always sell out their London allocation, don't they? United, but Martin's on tonight, and it is. Well, it's just the truth, isn't it? And it is a bank holiday weekend. I keep forgetting that. I don't even know what bloody day it is, Conor. I haven't been home properly for like a month. Weird. Anyway, so best of luck. Who do you want to start against Hungary? Parrott or Evan? Parrott banging in the goals. He's got 10 goals this season. Saw that on online, actually, when I was doing a little bit of OBIG. So apologies in advance if any of it's wrong. It was a bit of a scramble. And there's a few of them giving out saying, we sold a player for £6.7 million and he's already got 10 goals this season. They can't play together for whatever reason. I don't know why, because you'd imagine Ferguson could play in front of Parrott, but they just don't mesh for whatever reason. Which one do you want to start?
I wouldn't be surprised if Heimer tried it again. No, if Heimer tried, I don't want him to try it again because I just don't.
Not against Hungary.
I just think for balance wise, it doesn't suit. But I do think
Armenia away, yes. Not at home to Hungary.
Yeah. And the thing is, Dave, if you want to hear more about Irish lads pressing over the weekend, that some of it mightn't be an OBIG or talking. Make sure you look in the description, because my link to my Irish Times article is in the description where I speak about all those beautiful things. But yeah, continue on there.
Oh, thank you. Also, another great bit of Premier League news here. Brentford. I watched the first half of this in Budapest, actually. I was delighted. Here he is. He looks like a golfer. Keith Andrews' first Premier League win as Brentford manager. There he is with his captain, Nathan Collins. A 1-0 win over Aston Villa. I think it should have been 2-0, actually. I think Martinez was acting the bollocks, quite frankly, when Collins took him out. It's always funny about your man Martinez, right? I know this talk he's going to go to United, perhaps, and I think United could actually do it with someone like him, because all the nonsense that United are having with their goalkeeper. The two goalkeepers at the moment wouldn't happen because he's an aggressive bastard. But when he gets a little touch on him, he goes around like holding his, like he's been winded because he was slightly impeded by Collins. In my opinion, should have stuck, but it doesn't matter. There he is. Keith Andrews has his first win. And I'm very happy for him, Conor, because obviously friend of the pod, Martin O'Neill, who's been bashing him and giving out to him, and because Keano called him a bullshitter and a spoofer, and of course the cult of Roy Keane, everyone goes, oh my God, Roy Keane said he's a spoofer, so he has to be a spoofer without actually doing a due diligence. Now, I must say, last week, very worrying defeat. Very, very worrying defeat. The manner of defeat against Nottingham Forest, they looked like they were deer in headlights, really, Brentford, let's be honest. But much better. An aggressive game they brought, and I'm paraphrasing Keith Andrews here, Conor, with BBC. I did watch the highlights match of the day coming over on the plane, you see. It was working. And he said, we brought them down to our level. We made it a very difficult game for them, and I loved it was chaos, and I loved every bit of it. Is what Keith Andrews said. But yeah, they were well worth. Now, I know Villa are having their own issues at the moment because they're stuck with PSR. They can't really bring anyone in, and you have to sell. But yeah, Brentford looked very good. Kelleher, good save with his feet. Collins, pretty assured. I know there's talk of him going. It's not going to happen this season, obviously, is it? Because if you do that, might as well just give up. They're not going to stay without Collins. But they've lost a lot of players. They lost a lot of key players as well, Conor, haven't they? But we're delighted for Keith Andrews because he's just taken a lot of stick, hasn't he, from a lot of Irish people, which does worry me, which does kind of have me scratching my head a little bit.
Yeah, but just worrying when people are starting to say about the way he's speaking in his Irish accent when he's doing. That's when it starts to worry me. That's when I think there's a bit of an agenda going on with people who are just don't. It's just he's trying to slow down for the cameras or players who are from all these different countries that want to understand them. But anyway, yeah, I'm so happy that they got the win. I actually put it because I was with on the way back from Madeira yesterday and was with the mates in the airport, and put a tenner bet on with my mate that his bet was Watkins to score and Villa to win, and mine was just that Watkins wouldn't score and Brentford would win because I was so convinced that Brentford were going to do them. I knew they'd do them. Villa are a mess. You can tell there's something when you've seen Tyrone Mings putting up stuff about when Chico Ramsey left and John McGinn to see him. And I know you're on about Emi Martinez, but that's the sort of thing every single South American does. They're all the tough men to go fly into tackles to do all this stuff, and then when they get slapped or they get they will tap, they roll around the ground. But that's just probably the way they're brought up. I don't really have anything against it, to be honest. But yeah, I thought Brentford were full value for the 3 points. Collins put another colossal performance in at the back. Kelleher done what Kelleher does, makes goalkeeping look easy. I think that's the best way to describe him. He makes it look easy. And Andrew's got his first 3 points, which I'm just so happy for him, just on a personal level, even though I've never met him, whatever interactions. But I just think it's something that he badly needed was them 3 points, just to get to the stage where people will get off his back and worry about, because it kind of just keeps, once it drags on, getting the first 3 points, it'll just keep going. It'll keep going. And yeah, I think they'll build on this now. I know there's no easy games in the Premier League, but when you can beat Villa, it'll give that group of players a lot of confidence. It'll give Andrews a lot of confidence. And I'm just glad that Martin O'Neill was in the Premier Sports studio for that game, covering it, to see Keith Andrews pick up the 3 points. And he's still going on about the thing about the set pieces with Keith Andrews again, when I don't know why the people in the studio for Premier Sports, they should know at this stage that it wasn't he was going at Martin O'Neill for attempting to score from set pieces. He was attempting at he was criticising how he went about with the set pieces, about his tactics from set pieces, rather than just using them to his advantage. So someone needs to just tell Martin O'Neill to shut up. And I'm guessing he was put on Premier Sports for that game for a reason. Because I don't even know. I don't think I've ever seen him on Premier Sports before, but it's not a channel that I would watch all that often. But yeah, so I'm glad he was there to witness.
Little grin.
3 points.
His little grin, like when he was like, "Oh well, set piece coach." He did before the game, set piece coach, and they conceded straight away from a set piece. Like what was it, 2 set pieces last week, and he just loved it, didn't he? He's a bitter bastard, isn't he?
Yeah, I can't stand him. Everyone knows I can't stand him. And people, I still get comments on posts from. Remember the one I had to go to him, and it was whatever, because it went very viral on Twitter about it, and then there still be comments on that to this day. People trying to give out to me about it. But when you know you're right, Dave, you know you're right, and that's something I will not stand down on Martin O'Neill, because as much as I respect what he done for Ireland as a manager and successful career he had, I do think when he talks in the media, you have to take with a massive pinch of salt, because it's just a lot of it is from a tactical point of view, and he's a very, very smart man who knows how to manipulate things. But the problem is when you have people that do this for a living, Dave, and know what their life is to know everything about Irish football, to see who's lying and who's not, unfortunately.
Oh dear, that's strong words there from
Conor. Tell me I'm wrong?
No, I agree. I just said it. I think O'Neill's a bit of a bastard. Do you agree? The Roar faithful, have your comment. Get involved. We'll be getting to those in about the next 15 minutes or so. We'll get to your comments. So don't worry, we're not ignoring them. We'll answer every comment as long as it's classy. You can ask us whatever you want to ask us. You can pick us up on something that you
We've
like.
Have you noticed we have no Celtic Symphony in the comments tonight? Gone missing after Johnny Kenny scores at the weekend. Adam Ida got hooked at half-time in the Champions League. People think I hate Adam Ida, I don't. It's just that
he wasn't even in the squad, was he?
No, he had a knock to his knee, so he wasn't that he was dropped. And I think it would have been the sort of thing if they were playing Rangers or they had a big game, he would have been in the squad. They were resting him for the Champions League game next week. But yeah, I know we'll probably go to speak about that later, but I'm delighted for Johnny Kenny to get that goal and shut the criticism up.
There you go. So have your say, leave a comment, and get involved. It is the Irish football's most interactive podcast, and of course, it is the voice of the fans. Next up to talk about this man here, Oamuni. Victor Oamuni, the young lad at Shamrock Rovers, 16-year-old. He has been signed, or it's about to happen. Arsenal are going to sign him for €2 million. This was broken by Dan McDonnell in the Independent today. Woke up to it midnight, actually. It was broken. 2 million could raise to 4 million. It smashed the previous League of Ireland record, which was 1 million for Mason Mealy, who's obviously going to Spurs in January.
1.9 million.
1.9 million. Yeah, fair enough. But there you go, Victor Oamuni. He is going to Arsenal. It's fantastic, and especially when you see Arsenal giving 15-year-olds a chance, who, by the way, bloody well did good. My tip for Premier League young player of the we'll talk about that on a different podcast. And if you want to hear about that conversation, which is Conor is going to get hit with when we record that episode of State of Play, you can head over to Lansdowne Roar Plus for $4.99 if you want to hear that. But anyway, Conor, we're not talking about English football. Well, we kind of are. But we're talking about this lad here. Victor Oamuni, you've been raving about him for a while. He is going to be an Arsenal player in January.
Yeah, not January 2027. We have to wait a year and a half because he won't be 18 until then. He's still a 16-year-old, so he's just so young, and it's such a outstanding move. I see some people complain about Spurs should stay in Ireland, but like when he goes to Arsenal by the time he's 18, when they spend that money there, they're not bringing him in to be an academy player. They're bringing him in to be around the first team, or you send out a loan to a level that I think is the next level after playing with Shamrock Rovers, and I think it shows the real quality that Victor has. The fact he's 16, he hasn't played a huge amount for Shamrock Rovers as first team, and they're spending more money on the lad than Spurs spent in Mason Media, who had racked up I don't know, it was tens and tens of games for St. Pat's, and had played in Europe and played a lot of football, and it shows how highly he's thought of, because he's one of the most highly thought of players, I would say, in Europe at his age. He's been at the Ireland under-17s, didn't actually play that much in the qualifiers. Probably it's just the problem is he had Jade Numa, who's a year older than him, in front of him. But yeah, he'll be such a massive player for the Ireland under-17s in the qualifiers this year. He will be in. I'd be shocked he's not in the World Cup squad for the age group above. And that money that they're spending on 2 million is a huge amount, up to 4 million before then. I think he's out injured at the moment because he hasn't played for Shamrock Rovers for quite a while. I'd say the minutes will continue to grow between now and the end of the season. I know we'll talk about the European games on the LOI podcast in the next couple of days. But yeah, It was an unbelievable move, an unbelievable player. I'm surprised that it's been done this soon, to be honest, because I know we spoke about it before, about the deal was kind of set in stone that he was kind of going to go to Arsenal for a lot of money, and I didn't think it would be announced. Supposedly it's going to be announced this coming week, and I did see David Ornstein, who's probably the number one transfer expert in kind of world football at the moment. He's kind of overtaken Romano, saying that Arsenal have delved a lot deeper into the Irish market now and have someone that they're trying to really delve into the north and south, and they really want to try and take advantage because it's a market that is obviously the Irish football's on the up whether it's even with the lack of facilities, we're still doing so well in terms of producing players and talent wise. So yeah, I'd say he could be the first of many. He could end up at Arsenal over the next couple of years. And
well, and as well, he's probably going to be a bit of a European. He'll be used to European football, won't he? Playing with Shamrock Rovers, hopefully in Europa, if they get past, if they finish up the job against Santa Clara. Fantastic win, by the way, Shamrock Rovers. And of course, Linfield as well. Probably Linfield a bit annoyed that they exceeded the goal, but there you go. And if he gets in the group stage of that'd be brilliant. And it'll be a seasoned European player. And this is great for League of Ireland. I know I get text messages from fans of certain clubs. You know who you are, giving out to me because we're praising Rovers or whoever. But like this is good for the league. That's 2 million. Seamus Coleman in 2008 went for 60 grand. Now we're finally seeing League of Ireland teams get the money they deserve. Coleman probably should have easily gone for 6 figures, deep into 6 figures back in 2009. But only in Ireland you only seem to get a 5-figure sum for a quality player. Now we're seeing 7 figures, and it's brilliant. And that's going to go back into club. Then they're going to look at other players, and that could be a stand for a team. Obviously, Rovers have it all set up at the stadium, but that wasn't Rovers. That's a new stand.
Gavin Mazzini paid for a new stand. That's his add-ons in that deal with Man City when he got sold. Paid for all that. But what I was going to say, sorry. Because you were saying about him being a seasoned European player, like he played a couple of games last year. If you remember, he came off the bench against Molde. Yeah. It was unbelievable coming off the bench that day off, and no one could believe how good he was. And then the reality is, we'd be very hopeful. I know Santa Clara are a very good side, but Rovers went and beat the boy. If Rovers get through, that's going to be a group stage. Now he's going to get to compete in this season again, and I would say next season as well, because the reality is Rovers are going to win the league, and which puts the Champions League qualifiers next season, and you win one round and you're automatically in the Conference League playoffs. And the thing is, if Rovers qualify for Europe this season whilst win the league and they qualify without being the league champions, I'd love to see how much money they'll be able to invest this coming season. But yeah, so the reality is he could have played in Europe 3 seasons in a row. I know last season was kind of he only played 1 game pretty much, but it just shows the level he is, and there's a big level of connection with Arsenal. But in terms of Stephen Bradley, he's an ex-player there. His agent, Graham Barrett for Victor, he's an ex-Arsenal player. So I think, did Steve McPhail play for Arsenal at one stage, or there's a connection
he was their Irish scout as well, Stephen Bradley.
Yeah, so there is a good. I know people say it can work in a bad way, but it seems to be working in a good way as long as Rovers are getting the money that they deserve. And it's going to be very exciting.
And it shines the league shines the light in the whole league as well. They go, okay, so he's worked out. 2 lads have worked out. What else did he got?
The only negative of the last couple of days is the money that it seems that Rovers might only get for Josh Honan if he moves on this summer. It seems to be that if Rovers don't qualify for Europe this year, they might just sell Josh Honan because he only has 1 year left in his deal. But 400k is not the value of Josh Honan. He's been called up to Ireland. I know he hasn't made his debut yet, but he's been called up. People are still clamoring for him to get in this next squad that's been announced this week because of how good he's been in Europe. I know it's going to be it's hard to see him making it this stage just with the options we have, but he's such an outstanding player. And the thing is, when you go to a team like Lincoln are obviously a good side, but when you go to League One, you're automatically taken out of the Ireland picture. Look what happened to Neil Ferrugia. I know he's quite injury prone, but he was a player who would have been on Honan's level in terms of bringing it into the Ireland setup. And then I know he struggled with injuries, but 400k is not Josh Honan's valuation. You'd be looking at least, I'd say 800k if you wanted to sell him now. And then if Rovers qualify, they get another 400k for qualifying this week. So I don't think that, as it seems like they'd wait till either next summer or just keep him. But it's very disappointing to see a figure like that thrown about, especially if he was going to a league club, but one club. You want to see him in the Championship.
And it's very annoying that Heimer, we were giving out about him in Luxembourg. If he had given Josh a go, and if Josh had shown, even against Luxembourg, if he had just shown and becoming an international, that lashes on a few extra quid. But if you're going to sell him anyway, and you look at this boy and go, well, he's an international now, that does add value. And also, if he can do it at that level, that might get Championship clubs looking at him going, and this lad he looks all right at the top level. I know people, sorry, Luxembourg, but still. It all counts, but fair play to Victor.
Okay. Sorry, it's just because hopefully they do qualify because it's great for Irish football overall. And honestly, Dave, I think I'm at this stage now. I would rather Josh Honan stay with Shamrock Rovers and play European football than go to Lincoln City. There's been a lot of actually confrontation between Lincoln City fans and League of Ireland fans over the last couple of days when that news has come out. But if they qualify, I don't see any benefit. Like even if he went in January and do it like Johnny Kenny, obviously he went back to Celtic. And Neil Ferrugia went to Barnsley. So hopefully, if he moves on, it'll be to like a championship club if he does.
Yeah. Last bit of news to talk about here before we get to OBIG. Here he is, Kasey Keller. Kasey McAteer. I've done the same. I've done the same thing that Paul Merson did. He called Caoimhín Keller Kasey Keller, and I've called Kasey McAteer Kasey Keller. At least you can, you can sort of get where I'm coming from. Apologies if is my connection gone a bit dodgy there?
No, you're right. Go on.
Sorry, it's telling me it's gone a bit low on the Wi-Fi, but there he is. Kasey McAteer signed for Ipswich Town, promotion chasing Ipswich Town from promotion chasing Leicester. £12 million. He signed a 4-year deal with them. Interesting enough, he's going to go head to head with Chidozie Ogbeni, easy for me to say. Which actually, if we check out OBIG, the manager's made his mind up about that. Good deal. I think he's a player. He was excellent against Senegal. For the boys in green, wasn't he? In Dublin, what he did, to get the goal, he's fantastic. He showed a lot of guile. He really came into his own, didn't he, towards the back end of the Premier League season last year under Ruud van Nistelrooy. But the new manager doesn't fancy him, so he's off to Ipswich Town. Good move.
Yeah, great move for him. 12 million is a lot of money. I wasn't expecting it to be that sort of figure, which nothing against Kasey, but I just didn't think it would have been that because the reality is he's second choice. The problem is Leicester's strong position they have probably by far was right wing. The fact they had Fatawu and Kasey McAteer, who both had shown really in the Premier League that they weren't out of place, and then the fact they got 12 million, they'll be happy with. Yeah, great signing for Ipswich. In fairness, it was quite disappointing, obviously, that with Ogbeni at the weekend he didn't come on. It was very strange. Ipswich fans were a bit confused about, and maybe Kieran McKenna felt the need he had to bring Kasey on just for the debut to get him on, but it seemed very strange to not bring Ogbeni on in that sort of situation. But yeah, I'm delighted he's gone there. The Irish connection is building there. Some people try to claim that Kieran McKenna's not Irish. He's a Northern Irish manager when he's clearly Irish. Like he would
offend you, Conor?
Well, it doesn't offend me, but I just think it's ridiculous. People think that like he's a player of, or you can see that you see with managers, don't you? When a manager is from a certain country, sometimes they like to build a connection. Like you see with a lot of Portuguese players at Wolves, and it's actually still going to this day. And I think it's starting to be the case with Kieran McKenna at Ipswich. He loves bringing in Irish players, and it's going to benefit us because they're going to be competing right at the top of the championship. I know Kasey would have been competing there anyway with Leicester, but I think he's going to a more settled team at Ipswich. They're more built to go back up this season, and yeah, it's a great move for him. He's going to be playing regularly at a top championship team, and the pity was that Fatawu was there at Leicester, which kind of forced his hand to move on. And he's going to be a big player for Ireland. These qualifiers gives us real options in that position, but it questions who's going to be playing that position. Ogbeni or Kasey I know Ogbeni has kind of been Ireland's main man for the last 2-3 years, and if Kasey's starting over him at club level, does that automatically mean he starts to see him for Ireland, or do we still stick with what's worked for Ireland and with Ogbeni on the wing? So it's a lot to consider wise, but hopefully it could end up the stage that one of them ends up playing off the left. I know Jack Clark is a good player, but he struggled to start the season so far on the left, so maybe one of them could drift to the left, or it could be the thing, one plays 60 minutes, one plays half an hour, but both men are probably capable of playing 90 minutes week in, week out.
Well, there you go. What do you guys think of it out there? The Raw faithful, do you think it's a good signing? You happy for him? Should we have a look at the... Go on.
Are we talking about the other couple of things first, or will they be after IBIG? Because the other transfer news, the most controversial transfer news.
Oh, God, yeah, sorry. Annie Moran. Gone to LA United.
LAFC.
LAFC. Is it not LA United FC?
No, it's just LAFC.
Oh, we don't know. You know what
I think it's sad. I've never heard that, but unless you are well ahead of my knowledge on this, I just know them as LAFC.
No, Los Angeles FC. Oh, okay. You might see them down as LA United on the OBIG later on. But there you go. He's gone on a season-long loan. I don't know what that's about, to be honest with you, Conor. I never even heard of LAFC. I thought I was like, is that Leeds or something? Is it? When I saw the thing, and then it's like LAFC, LA Galaxy, yeah. I mean, they were founded in 2014. They're in the MLS. Brandon Beck owns them with Bennett Rosenthal. They do have some young men,
yeah,
and they have Hugo Lloris. So they do have some David Coe as well. I remember him. So some names that I recognize, obviously way past it, David Martinez and all these lads here. But yeah, so there you go. He's gone there on loan. He didn't play in their game that they had today, actually, because obviously he's only gone to the blood. He's probably jet lagged. But there you go. Your little heart must be breaking, Mister. Oh, he could play. He could be playing for Real Madrid. Andy Moran. Here's the guy. Lads, do you remember that? Here's the guy that came on and ran the show against England when we were 4-0 down. But still, he ran the show under the bright lights of Wembley Stadium, didn't he? Didn't he, Roar Faithful? Oh, yeah. He's a fabulous player. He's out in fucking America. He's not even playing for the good LA. Playing for the shit one no one's heard of. What is it? I tell you what, right? When Conor blesses a player, that's the kiss of fucking death. Aaron Cashin, fucking, he hasn't even played. Spoiler alert: he hasn't played a fucking minute for Birmingham.
Yes, he has. Don't lie.
Sorry, a minute. Andy Moran. Who's the other one?
Well, Boston's going well.
But yeah, as a centre back, to make sure centre back. And he's probably going to stay there for a bit. That's not too bad, to be fair. And anyone else? You're always raving about who are fantastic. Fucking Luca Conor was on his way back up. Put him on OBIG. Gone. The kiss of death.
Andy Moore and Sinclair Armstrong will be back. I know, but anyway,
that's the other one. Sinclair Armstrong getting bombed out of fucking Bristol.
No, but no. Be serious. I've seen a lot of over exaggeration online to this, like crazy over exaggeration. People acting like I've seen a lot of. I seen a comment get a lot of likes saying the League of Ireland is a higher standard than MLS. As much as I love the League of Ireland, the MLS actually is a good league, and it is. I know the only problem is that there's no relegation. I think that's the only problem I have with it. And the fact it's played late at night, and you can't probably there's no Champions League for it. Really, I think that's what people are most annoyed about it. But he's actually going to a good team. LAFC obviously are a good side. He's getting to play with Youngman's son. That's not like he's going to play with. I would much rather him going back to MLS for a season than do another loan to the Championship. Because the thing is, you're saying a season-long loan. The MLS season ends in December, so he could be just there until January, and then back to Europe, which would be ideal for me in a personal point of view, because I don't want to see him. Because the reality is, I love watching him play and staying up at 3:00 at night to watch. It was LA, obviously, he's West Coast, and usually when things are 3:00 in the night is when they're in the West Coast. So it just is not the ideal scenario. But yeah, I think there's been a lot of over exaggeration to this from people, probably from your viewpoint, Dave, who don't really have any interest in the MLS. But obviously it's not our favorite league. We would have much rather if he went to the Bundesliga or maybe the Eredivisie. But you could make an argument at this stage that the MLS is on par with the Eredivisie or just as good with some of the players that are playing in that league at the moment. But I just hope it doesn't affect his Ireland chances. I don't think it will, because from people I've spoken to the FAI and people who I know in the FAI, how highly Andy Bourne is thought of. He is thought of as good as anyone in Irish football in terms of his future, how well he could go on to do in his career. And that's probably the surprise is why he's gone to LA, is the fact that he's got out of Europe. It's just probably makes it more awkward that he'd have to go out of Europe to come back to Europe. And he was having a good preseason with Brighton, in fairness. He was doing well with the first team. And then maybe I've heard stuff that there could be a buy option in the deal, but not 100% sure or not. But it is a big thing for an MLS side, especially LAFC. When you look at it, they're bringing players like Youngman's son and Hugo Lloris to go take a 22-year-old Irish lad who's only played in the Championship really into the first team. Shows how highly they think of it. And I've spoken to people involved with LAFC, and they see him as going to be a massive player for them, playing whether he's at as a number 10 or number 8. But yeah, it's a good way of preparing for the World Cup next summer, isn't it? Getting to play, adjust to the climate, adjust the way it is.
You are clutching.
No, but I just think people are over exaggerating way too much. Obviously, I wanted them to stay in Europe because that's where football is most important, more vibrant, and where we can see him get easiest way of getting to the highest level. But I don't think if it's not, if he stays as the rest of his career in MLS, I will be very disappointed. But if it's only a short-term thing, maybe it's until January or it's a season, I wouldn't be too fussed.
Look, it was the thing where, yeah, and you are right. You know, who used to do that? The Irish lad, Jerry Daly, first goal scorer of Charlton era. He would actually play his when they had the summer league. He would actually go, instead of having a break during the summer, he'd actually go off to America and play in the US league they had during the 70s and 80s to earn a few extra quid. Although playing in that league in the summertime, madman. Look, best luck to him. Yeah. Tell us what you guys. I see some of the comments coming in.
If what I have as a question for you and for the comments, what I had heard was that a possible option would have been he would have just went back to the Championship on loan to Preston for the season. And would, just for anyone in the comments and for you, Dave, would you have rather Andy would have played a deep deal for the season, living in Preston, or playing for LAFC and getting to live obviously in LA? What would you rather?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, Preston is the fucking death knell for Irish players these days. It used to be the springboard.
Unless you're Tom Cannon. You reach the peak of your career and then it doesn't go well after that.
Yeah. Well, tell us what you lads think. Anyway, there's a lot of comments. We're going to get to those in a minute. We're going to go through. We're going to do OBIG, and then we're going to get to your comments. I'm getting a bit stiff.
But the thing is, Steve, a lot of the top countries across the world are like very good South American countries. Have a lot of players that play in the MLS and pick them for their squad regularly. And it only seems to Irish people we take a lot of negativity towards it. And then there's a lot of people saying like, oh, because Conor Ronan, who was never really near the Ireland squad, went to Colorado and started playing with them, it means that Andy's completely out of the Ireland picture when like it just depends how well they're doing. Conor Ronan hasn't been doing, he's barely kicked the ball this season. Last year he was doing all right. But like I think Andy's just another level that if he goes, they could imagine he goes there and he's one of the best players in the league. And is he better off being one of the best players in MLS or just being good in the Championship where it's a different style of football that doesn't suit him? I'd say this style of football will suit him a lot more as well.
Well, we'll see what happens. Look, Robbie Keane did really well for LA Galaxy, who apparently aren't much gravy these days. Come from the comments, shows you how much I pay attention to American football. US football. But anyway, right, let's get into the OBIG and then we're going to get into the comments. So let's start. Apologies, folks. These are a bit scrambled. Conor, you can be my adjudicator. Here we go. Here is the goalkeepers. So Queven Keller, 90 minutes and a 1-0 win over Aston Villa for Brentford. Good lad. Max O'Leary still injured at Bristol City. Josh Keeley, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Cardiff City for Luton Town. Mark Travers sitting on the bench, earning that dough at Everton. And Gavin Mazoon in 90 minutes and a 2-1 loss against Stoke City for Southampton. Nothing really much to talk about there. Dermot won't be happy.
Who? Dermot?
Never mind.
By the way,
yeah.
Gallagher's first clean sheet as a goalkeeper with his new club. Congratulations.
There you go. Well done. Well done, Queven. Defenders. Robbie Brady still injured for Preston North End. Seamus Coleman, an unused sub. There's a shock. Nathan Collins, 90 minutes and that 1-0 win over Aston Villa for Brentford. Captain, of course, Matt Doherty, 90 minutes and 1-0 loss against Bournemouth for Wolves, who are going down. Joshua Hanahan, 90 minutes and 2-1 win over Santa Clara for Shamrock Rovers. Of course, they play during the week. Jake O'Brien, 90 minutes and 2-0 win over Brighton today, their first game in their new stadium. Andrew Amabama Deli, 41 minutes injured for Strasbourg. Darrow O'Shea, 90 minutes and 1-0 loss against Preston for Ipswich Town. Liam Scales, 90 minutes and 3-0 win over Livingston for Celtic. Captain as well. James Abankoa, 90 minutes and a 1-1 draw with Swansea, along with Watford. Jimmy Dunn, 62 minutes, 7-1 loss against Coventry. Colin Madera, they play Wednesday. Ferran Karosh, they had the weekend off. Mark McGuinness, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Cardiff City for Luton Town. Ryan Manning, 69 minutes and 2-1 loss against Stoke City for Southampton. Aaron Cashin, unused sub. The kiss of death by Conor. Samuel Garcia McNulty, 90 minutes and 2-0 win over Telstar for PEC's Wall. And Will Ferry. Match postponed. Dundee United. They're playing Aberdeen, and Aberdeen are in Europe, so they're allowed to, if they wish to postpone the game. they're allowed to. So there you go. Same with Hibs, actually. Spoiler.
Who's Livingstone?
Livingstone.
There's no E at the end of the name, you know.
Yeah, I think I needed it. I think I needed it.
And Josh Olin got an assist, by the way. He got an assist for Danny Mandrew's winning goal.
Okay.
Don't forget that.
My
And
apologies.
also, you said about Anselmo. Anselmo didn't play this weekend. They were meant to be playing AZ this weekend, and the game was called off.
Well, it was the game during the week.
No, I think they played a friendly. Maybe that's what they played a friendly. I think yes, actually, I think I've seen that. But
well, that was the last ever Divisie game, and I would normally say, you know, oh, he's playing, but I just want Heimer. I want Heimer to appreciate Anselmo, so he doesn't fuck off to Spain. But there you go.
But anyway, was that Jimmy? I think that was Jimmy Dunn's first game that he played as official club captain, and they lost 7-1. But I'm sure he wasn't really a fault. I didn't see it. I didn't really want to watch the highlights of that because there's nothing positive from an Irish point of view with that.
No, I think they took him off mercifully, didn't they? Yeah, during that. Jesus, that's dreadful. Although, to be fair, who did they smash 6-1 previous week? Didn't they? Coventry, Frank Lampard's Coventry. Did they beat someone else?
Yeah, they're playing actually some stuff. He actually is doing really well with Coventry. In fairness, he does very well in the Championship.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy Dunn sent to Coventry. Only those of an older generation will get that joke. Right, onto the midfield. By the way, the new graphics run out when it comes to the attackers. Apologies. Only back from holiday. Jason Knight, 90 minutes and a 1-1 draw with Derby for Bristol. This old club, actually. Killian Phillips, 84 minutes and a 1-1 draw with Rangers. Still haven't won a game under Russell Martin. Will Smallbone not in the squad for Southampton. We'll talk about that in a second. Jack Taylor, 90 minutes and not won the loss against Preston North End for Ipswich. John Joe Patrick Finn. They played Monday, Stade Ram. Don't think he'd be any big for a while. Josh Cullen, 90 minutes, a goal and an assist in a 2-0 win over Sunderland. Finazaz, 72 minutes and a goal and a 2-1 win over Norwich for Middlesbrough. Mark Sykes, 90 minutes and an assist in a 1-1 draw with Derby for Bristol. Jason Malumbi, 87 minutes and a 1-1 draw with Portsmouth for West Brom. Andy Moran just signed LA United. I don't know. Jamie McGrath postponed Hibs. They're also in Europe and they invoked their right. Alan Brown not in the squad for Sunderland. He's not a Premier League player yet, bless him. Boston while 90 minutes as a defender and a 2-1 win over Southampton for Stoke. There you go, Conor. He's pointing at you. Conor Coventry, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Leicester for Charlton. Milanic Ali, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Cardiff City and Luton Town. And Joe Hodge, 46 minutes and 3-0 battering by Benfica for Tondela. Sounds like
Hodge actually done all right. I think he came off injured at halftime. He picked up an injury, so I think that's why he didn't play the second half. But I suppose he actually did all right for. Obviously, they're playing against probably the best team in Portugal, so it doesn't help. And he's probably playing, and he's probably playing for one of the worst. Actually, I forgot to say, I was planning on hoping that I could go because I was obviously in Madeira on Thursday. I was thinking, I'm going to get to go to Shamrock Rovers match. I'll get a flight from Madeira to Azores or Azor, whatever you pronounce it, the island that Shamrock Rovers are playing at, which is obviously beside Madeira. You can't get a direct flight from Madeira to Azores. You have to fly to Lisbon and then get a flight from Lisbon out to there, which I thought was a disgrace. Like, I was disgusted. I was like, I'm not getting 2 flights to go to this match. I was thinking, nice, you could get a flight that morning or something. But Boston, another top class display for Stoke at the weekend. He is probably the best player in the world, best player in the Championship, an unbelievable player, which was a shock win in fairness, beating Southampton. And they went 2-0 up and picked up a red card on the 68 minutes, so about half an hour with 10 men. And it seems to be the case at the moment with Stoke that they're playing with Boston the first 60, 70 minutes at centre half, and then they're bringing Ashley Phillips on, who obviously would be like their main centre half, who's trying to build up his fitness, and Boston goes into midfield for Seko. But obviously things changed at the weekend for defensive reasons. They brought Phillips on and took Seko up. I think Boston kind of went into a back three, so he didn't really get to play in midfield, which is a bit of a disappointment with the squad announcement on Tuesday because it doesn't help his chances he's playing a centre half. But he's a different class. Like he's just an outstanding footballer, being honest with you. And had a great weekend. Finazaz, the GOAT, back scoring goals, which is massive for Ireland in time for the thing.
If you didn't rate Finazaz so well, he'd probably be playing for a top 4 team in the Premier League.
Yeah, true. And what
The
about
drag
Colin?
factor of the
When are you going
Conor.
to apologise?
For what?
You said he couldn't act the Premier League. Goal and assist. Man of the match. He is. I'll tell you what. He started the season. He was outstanding against Spurs the first game, and he was outstanding yesterday. Got man of the match.
I,
Against Sunderland,
I,
who had a ex-Arsenal player playing there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's the Premier League only 2 games now? Is it not 38 games, Conor?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I not? Well, I can't count, but can I really not count?
Well, you said he couldn't hack him before he'd ever played one game in the Premier League, so you were judging him before.
They played Sunderland, right? And he did well for his goal was nice, right?
And his assist was lovely.
His assist was nice as well. He played it quite well. He was given loads of space, though, to be fair. And he almost had another assist that was disallowed, but to be fair, that was just a punt. Because when I saw it, I thought, is that his assist? And then it got disallowed. And I was like, okay, because that's hardly an assist. It was a punt, and the defender knocked it on, but he was offside. No, look, he did okay.
He did all right. On the match.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
He got man of the match. Man of the match. I don't think you should praise him. Even Alan Shearer.
I'm not praising him. I'm not praising him.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. But no, it was a great performance by Cullen. And the thing is, he needs to be doing that in the Premier League if he wants to continue to be the heartbeat of Ireland's squad, to be honest with you, Dave. And I'm just happy he's doing it because he didn't really show it in his first time in the Premiership. And you hope that he's learning from whatever mistakes he made in his first time there, or not mistake, maybe just maturity at that level. But
I think Burnley will stay up, but I also said that Sunderland will go down with Wolves and West Ham. You can get that on Raw Plus, by the way. Just saying.
And Conor Coventry got man of the match for Charlton against Leicester. I know they lost 1-0, but it was good to see him get the match against a very good opposition. And in terms of what Mark Sykes got his assist, I'd be shocked really if he choose the squad, to be honest, just because he's kind of at right wing back option, and we now have Kasey there, Fessy there, and Ogbene back. So I'd be shocked for me, but it's good to see he got that assist for Bristol City. But it was the start. The midfielders all had a good weekend, being honest with you, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Right, let's move on to the attackers, and then we're going to talk about our squad, actually, a squad selection. And then we'll get to the comments. So yeah, this is where the Fangling graphics sort of phased out a little bit. Festy, he plays Thursday. He did get a goal though last Thursday in a 2-1 loss. Ferguson, 74 minutes, man of the match, 1-0 win over Bologna. Good boy. Adamida not in the squad for Celtic. Oh dear. Kasey McAteer, 24 minutes in a 1-0 loss against Preston for Ipswich Town. Played over Chidozi. Plays Thursday. Troy Parrott's AZ Alkmaar. They were supposed to play today, as you said. Sammy Smodic, 77 minutes in a 1-0 loss against Preston. Sinclair Armstrong, your boy, 36 minutes in a 1-1 draw with Derby for Bristol. Mikey Johnson, 60 minutes and a goal in a 1-1 draw with Portsmouth for West Brom. Rockavatsa, 3 minutes. 3 minutes and a 1-1 draw. Swansea had another kiss of death for Connor's boy. Tom Cannon, 59 minutes and a 1-0 loss against Millwall for Sheffield United. Chidozi, Ogbene, and unused subs. I will update the graphics. He wasn't in the squad for Burnley. He shouldn't even be in OBIG. Tyler Goodrum, 68 minutes and 1-0 loss against Birmingham for Oxford United. And Ademo Amaku, 20 minutes and a 1-0 win over Sheffield United, who seemed to have gone to shit when he got rid of Chris Wilder. Yeah, I thought Michael Obafemi shouldn't be in OBIG, but Conor shared.
I said wait until he gets it because he could end up going to a level that keeps him in there. But if he goes to League One, I said you can take him out. Oh,
then I'm permitted Lord Master Conor over there. What was I going to say? Yeah, so Rockavatsa, that's another one.
Yeah,
that's another one of your boys.
No, but that actually, Prendy was saying that he wanted them called up before he'd ever really kicked the ball in first team. No, but it's been quite strange for Rocco because he was kind of their main winger in pre-season. I've been very excited, and then he picked up that hamstring injury the week of the season started, and then he came back and he didn't play last week, and then he played only a couple of minutes. I think he played more than, what did you say, like 4 minutes? I think there was like 10 minutes extra time, so he probably played about 13, 14 minutes into the 90 minutes. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. So he played more than a couple of minutes, but yeah, it's still disappointing. Rockavatsa should be starting for Watford. He's that good of a talent, and he's proven that he has. I think he's still going to have a massive season, and it's still very early, but it's probably not good in terms of Ireland, in terms of making the September squad, because I think if he was playing regularly, and even if he wasn't like shining every week, he still would have been in the squad as such because of how good of a player, and I know how highly Heimer rates him. But yeah, Mikey Johnson, massive weekend for him to finally get. He scored one goal in the Championship last season, and within 3 games this year. He's scored. He's already equaled that tally, and then obviously the 2 assists last week. So he's starting to really build on what has been a really disappointing summer for him, to be honest. I know there's stuff about Sinclair leaving Bristol City, but it kind of doesn't really make sense, Dave, if you get me, that Reece, who is their striker to sign from Preston this summer, was hooked after 54 minutes the other day for Sinclair. And they're saying that this report said that Sinclair had fallen down the pecking order. When how can he fall down the pecking order really if he comes on for the striker after 54 minutes? Like what? So you're magically just going to pair with another striker? I don't know. Or like unless they're trying to raise funds and they want to make money and by selling Sinclair, but it doesn't make sense to say that he's going to leave unless they've signed another striker. Like it would make sense maybe if he didn't play at all, Dave, at the weekend, or was getting 2 minutes, but he came on for the last 36 minutes because they wanted something different in attack. And I know they play Fulham midweek, and I think that's the sort of team he do really well against, obviously on the counter attack and using his pace and power. But obviously it hasn't been the start of the season he wants, and I do think he needs to get out of Bristol City to really see the best from to a team where he is kind of that main man up front. And Tom Callan's season so far has not gone well at all either. He's been starting games and just can't make an impact at all. And then Ida obviously was left out the weekend for rest reasons, and it was a striker that was a bit more quiet the weekend, and it wasn't like in terms of Ogbene, quite disappointing that didn't get play at all, which is not a great sign. But it probably means that Kasey McAteer will probably start next weekend over, because obviously the squad's out Tuesday, and then there'll be one more game week before we play Hungary. So it could depend a lot with a lot of lads, whether they're going to be a starter or not for Ireland. They'll show their fitness is up. But yeah, overall it was a good weekend for Irish players abroad. Like,
okay, let's have a quick look at our squads that we want, and we're going to get into gone slightly over time. We're going to go into the comments then. So here is Conor's squad. I think they're very similar, really. This is what you want, Conor. This is what you think is going to happen.
No, that's what I want. That's not what I'm going to think. If I think it'd be different.
Yeah. So in goal, you got Caoimhín Kelleher, Bazunu, Josh Keeley. Go on, Brendan. In defence, you got Seamus Coleman, Matt Doherty, Jacob Ryan, Nathan Collins, Darryl Shea, Ryan Manning, Callum O'Dowda. Midfield, Josh Cullen, Jason Knight, Finn Azaz, Jason Malumbi, Boston Lawal, Jack Taylor. Forward, Sammy Smodic, Festi Ebisola, Gio Benny, Kasey McAteer, Adam Ida, Troy Parrott, Evan Ferguson, Mikey Johnson, and of course my one is pretty much identical, except I want a Samuel Garcia McNulty. I always do, to be called up instead of Seamus Coleman. I do, because Coleman's not going to play at all this season. He'll probably make an appearance in a couple of league games, but no, he's not going to play.
He was about to come on today, you know.
Was he?
Yeah, because Jacob Bryan went down. It looked like he'd done his hamstring, but it was just cramp, and Jacob Bryan was going to come on for the last, like 5 or 6 minutes. Or Coleman was going to come on from. So it shows that Coleman's not completely forgotten about. And I just think if Coleman's a fit, he's just always going to be in the squad, and he offers so much that Ireland setup that you just can't. Obviously, we picked 24 each, and like I think in the match squad you can only have 23. I know in the past we've picked 24, 25 on squads and left 1 or 2 players out. But I think maybe he might only pick just 23 in general. But yeah, obviously a lot of people are saying about will we pick Mr. McLean this time. And it's not that and if people want to say they don't pick him, I just don't see how he fits into the squad with the options we've got, and who do you drop? Like, how out do you drop? Like, the reality is I haven't put Will Smallbone in. I haven't put Liam Scales in. I haven't put Andrew Omobamidele in. And like Rocco Vata's not in that as well. There's a possibility Louis Barry could come into the picture for Tuesday, but I don't know where he kind of fits in at the moment until he starts to really tear it up. And like I have Boston Lawal in there. I don't expect Boston really to be picked, to be honest. Just the reality that he's been playing a centre half. If he was playing a centre mid, you think he'd just walk straight into the team. But the reality is he's been playing a centre half, so I think it's a problem. I just think Scales, because it's the level or a centre half's kind of, I don't know where he's going to play. Like I've picked less at a centre half than I've only have the 3 natural ones, and then obviously Doherty kind of fits in at centre half for us. So that's why I'd have Boston in there, because he's shown that he can play just as well as centre half as he can play in midfield. Like I'm sure Adam Ida will be more than fit to play this month, even though I don't think he might really play at all because of the former Parrott and Ferguson. Like I'm annoyed that we can't really probably pick Rocco this month because he just hasn't played enough for Watford. I think he would have been a real option to come in and really make an impact. And obviously Josh Keeley, went with him over Travers because I think we should reward players that are playing week in, week out and doing very well rather than someone that's gone to a club just to be second choice.
Yeah, I agree. Like Travers, and listen, nothing against Mark Travers at all. He's taking the money. Fair play to him. Nothing wrong with that. It's a short career. If you just looking at that there, because it's pretty much the same as my one, right? If I had to take one out, as if in right, actually 24, but you got to take one out for 23-man squad, I'd probably take out Adamida. To be honest, it's a shame Celtic isn't on. But I would just take Adamida. I'd probably have a situation where I wouldn't include Coleman in the squad, but I'd have him in the squad, like as a coach or something.
If it was 25 man, even 25 man, and you didn't have him in the match squad.
I just have his influence. Like I like him. I like the idea of him traveling with the team and having his influence around the team. But he's done. Like he's done as a fucking player. Like I'm sorry, he's done as a full-time player. He's just there for the same thing. He's just there as an emergency break glass, like a lad pulls up a cramp, bosh, like what almost happened today. Yeah, Adamida, it's not really doing it for me. Liam Scales, I know, and I'm happy he got his 100th appearance and he was Celtic captain over the weekend. But he's not an international, let's be honest. And I'd like to have a bit of a look at Samuel Garcia. I don't really know what he's done wrong. He plays week in, week out in the Eredivisie. He is kind of unlucky that he's a defender, I suppose. That's our strongest position. Josh Keeley, he's the future. So, I like the idea of him being in the squad.
The thing is, Dave, like we're saying, Josh Keeley, he's not going to be picked. They're just going to pick Travers. Like it's just the way it is. It's going to be Kelleher, Bazuni, Travers. We want Josh Keeley to be in the squad, but we just know how it works. And Travers, well, and I don't have a problem with Travers. He is a top keeper. It's just I think you should reward lads that are playing every week. And Josh Keeley's been outstanding for Luton so far.
And also Andrew Amabamadeli, terrible, injured again. I don't know what happened, but that lad, I feel really bad for him. Because he's probably potentially he could be your best defender, really. Like the talent is like ball playing certainly, and he just cannot stay fit. So you kind of wonder he might not actually be out playing international football.
Would you have had him in that squad? Because I actually didn't. I wouldn't have had him off my list. I wouldn't have changed. Like I don't know who I take out from. Maybe you take one of the midfielders out, but I think maybe you do one that maybe, or you take. Are you taking an attacker or a striker? Or maybe because we have three options on the right wing, but I don't know who you take out.
You'd probably take out Samuel.
No, but you would, yeah. But you're saying about left back, right back options, yeah.
See, the thing is, like, I'm not a fan of Callum O'Dowd. I know, I've been very quiet about that. But he plays left back. We don't have a left back, and same with Ryan Manning. He's a left back or a left forward. Depends where Heimer wants to play him. But with Omo, if he's playing week in, week out in a top 5 league, as you would say, in League On, you'd have to put him in there. But, you'd probably edge a Semino. But the lad can't stay fit. He can't stay fit. And do you know what, Conor? Even if I think he'll be an early retiree from international football, because if they do get him into a routine, it can happen. Ledley King, Spurs, was injury prone. Paul McGrath with his knees were gone, and he found a way to get him through. Now, different era. You probably can't get away with that today because of the athleticism of the forwards, because it's all about pace now, isn't it? Certainly not about brains. Jesus, the passing I saw today. That's for the other pod that we do. I don't think he'll be able to play for. I don't think he'll play for Ireland again. To be honest,
stop.
He won't.
What do you mean he won't play? What do you mean he won't?
Conor? He can't stay fit.
If it doesn't mean you mean
if you're telling me,
but if you're trying to say he'll never play for Ireland ever again,
I don't think he will.
One game ever again?
Probably not. No.
He's 23, Dave.
Yeah, and he can't stay fucking fit. Doesn't matter.
He could say he'll never play one game for Ireland ever again. I don't think he will.
If you're a manager, right? If you get him into a routine, right, and you're paying his wages, right, and let's say Rossini gets him into a routine, and you keep him fit, you don't want to go into Ireland.
Yeah.
and fucking it up, you're gonna have a word with the manager and say, look, and it's because we're so. Hold on a second. What was that? Sorry, something dropped in there. And it's because like we're so lucky in central defence, right? So we got Collins, we got Shea, like so we're okay there. But you're gonna turn around and say, look, lads, this boy can barely play. Like it could barely keep him fit, and we're paying his wages, and we don't really want him going to you. We don't really want to make a whole deal with FIFA, and can we just quietly just kind of leave it alone? He can't stay fit, Conor. I don't care what age he is, he can't stay fit.
But I would understand if you said, I don't think he'll ever be a regular for Ireland, or I don't think he'll ever play 3 games in a row for Ireland. But to say he'll never play 1 game for Ireland ever again,
I think. Do you know what? I think he'll be retired by the time he's 25
from football.
And I don't listen.
Mental.
It's not really happening.
He needs to make a career. He's not going to just retire.
Yeah, but who's going to pay him?
But he's not done anything mental crazy. Like he's not done his ACL 3 or 4 times. He's not torn his Achilles.
But he can't stay fit.
Yeah, but he's not. You're acting like he's Luke Shaw, who missed 2 years in a row of football.
He missed a year.
How long ago was that?
It doesn't matter. He still missed a year.
But that's crazy to say he's going to retire by 20.
It's not crazy. Alan, Raw Faithful, is it crazy, right? It'd be different if he missed a year and then he's like had the last 2-3 years and if he's back playing regularly. He hasn't played regularly at all. What season? Name a season where he's played regular football. Tell you what, you love your L transfer market, you sofa score there, right?
I'm not saying he's up, but the thing is, you're just twisting my. I never said he wasn't injury prone, or I wouldn't say that he's has awful luck with injuries. But
I'm making a prediction.
He's not going to retire when before he's 25. That's I'd put a grand on with you that he wouldn't retire before he's 25.
I'm not going to bet. Like I don't really bet, to be honest with you. But like I'm telling you now, I have a feeling it does happen. What was it? The West Ham striker. Dean, what was it? Ashton, was it?
Dean Ashton. Dean Ashton. Yeah.
What age did he retire at? 25, wasn't he?
That was years ago, though.
Doesn't matter. What does it matter?
Sure, if you look at even a player like Ousmane Dembele, he struggled crazy with injuries when he was young, like hamstring injuries, and he was missing so much time with injury, and then he got over him.
Yeah, but he's not getting over them, though, Conor. That's the problem. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, but you're just being mental. Saying he's going to retire
I'm not being mental.
Before he's 25 is actually crazy. But you're saying he's 23 now. Before the next 2 years, he's going to retire from football.
Yeah.
That is absolutely mental, Dave. For someone who's... That is actually... You've said a lot of mad things on this podcast with statements. That is, I think, the maddest thing. Okay. To say he's going to retire before he's 25. And by the way, he's under contract with Strasbourg.
Right.
Until 2029. He is not going to retire. A player's never going to retire until their contract's up.
So
because not going to miss out on the money.
So... Dean Ashton retired when he was 26. I remember Marco Van Basten retired when he was 29.
What year was that?
That was 94.
Yeah, so
I'm just 30 years ago. Doesn't matter. Yeah,
that'd make 30 years a big difference.
How is that? How is it different?
Medical science is a lot different. They can
really, and that's why he's playing week in, week out, is he?
No, but in terms of
he's playing
recovery,
he's playing week in, week out, is he?
But it makes a big difference in terms of how they recover.
Did he play? Like, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, where he is. They will. How it happens is, right? Players, doesn't matter what till what year the contract is paid up till, right? It'll get to a stage where if he can't play, the club will sit down with him and go, look, it's not happening. We'll give you X amount of money in a lump sum if you leave early. And then the player will go, all right, fair enough, whatever. And then they'll just say, I can't get a club. Because word spreads, can't stay fit, and they end up retiring on a lump sum and going to coaching or something like that. I'm wrong. I am really hoping I'm wrong. Big time hoping I'm wrong, by the way. But the way this lad is going, he had a year off, he's come back, it's stop-start with injuries. Okay, various injuries. It's his knee, isn't it?
No, it's his calf.
It's his calf, is it? Right. So he stopped start with injuries. Okay. He cannot. How many times has he been injured for Strasbourg?
Once.
No, he
He was
hasn't.
injured once. Yeah, he got injured once. He done his calf.
No, he went
calf.
off. No, he went off injured in another match
Yeah, that's when he done his calf.
last season.
Yeah, that's when he done his calf.
Right. He's had a year off. He was constantly injured for Norwich as well. I'm telling you.
He had one injury. No, he's had one bad injury when he done his back. Whenever he done his back at Norwich, that was the one bad injury. I think his last season, he just was not picked for Forest.
Tony in LA. Keith O'Neill. There's another one, Tony. Thank you very much. It does happen. Ferguson tried to sit down with Paul McGrath in 1989 to give him a lump sum because his knees were fucked.
But there's a massive difference between knee injuries and constant muscle injuries. Like Edison Cavani was always injured, but he was never going to retire. It's different when it's these sort of. It's the difference if he was constantly tearing his ACL, or he completely done his Achilles, or he's blown his back out.
He doesn't play because he's always injured.
You're acting like he's played like 3 games in the last 6 years.
How many games has he played in the last 2-3 years? Go on.
So last season, you can't really count the first 6 months because he was fit. He just wasn't picked.
Right. That we're aware of. Right.
Well, he was picked. He just wasn't getting picked by. You
don't know that. Maybe how do you know he wasn't injured? And Forest were saying, listen, keep it on your hat, otherwise you won't get rid of you. Because if you're injured and your injury prone, we can't sell you.
He played.
That goes on.
He played 11 times for Strasbourg between January and the season, which I know it's not a lot, but you're acting like he played 1 game.
He played 11. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. He's played 11. All right.
Played 18 the season before with Forest, so he's not. You're acting like he's played 1 game each season. It's like
the lad is always. All right. Okay.
He is always injured, and he's really struggled with injuries. But to say that he's going to retire by the age of 25 is mad.
I mean,
by the age of 25, the next 2 years, especially when he's on a contract until 2029, with the money he'll be making until then, he's not going to retire.
Yeah, well, he might not have a choice, Conor. He might have to retire. Like, that's how this works.
But no, when you're picking up, for example, he picked up a calf injury today, and we don't know how serious it is. Okay. But he's not. If he was constantly doing his knees, like Charlie Masanda, who's a good example, he was constantly doing his ACL over and over and over again.
I think he'll be done. Maybe not 25, maybe 27 or something like that. But I don't think he's got a long career.
I would guarantee you, he's probably played more games in senior football than Andrew Moran, and Andrew Moran's not on like 1 year older. Like, and we're not complaining about him because he's not been injured. Oamuni just broke through so young that his body's probably took a long time to adjust to what he's to his size, because he's a big fella, and it does take a lot of time with these players coming through. I think you're just over the top a lot.
I'm over the top. Sorry,
you could say retire young, but you're saying he's going to retire by the age of 25 is crazy.
You like
25.
I laugh how you're saying it. Like, oh, you can retire young, but 25's mad. So what wouldn't be mad, Conor? 27, 28? Like, what's the difference? It's 3 years. It doesn't matter. Like, I picked
3 years
a number.
Is a long time in football.
I picked a number. I picked a number out of my arse. Like 25. All right. I reckon he'd be retired by the time he's 27. How about that? Is that hyperbolic, or is that?
I'm not saying that. I just said no, but 27. No, but 27. If you said 27, I would think that was. I'd be like, oh, fair enough. You think he's going to just keep getting injured by the age of 27?
Yeah.
But by saying 25 the next 2 years, that he's just going to retire the next 2 years is crazy. I don't say.
You know, like 2 years, like.
But it is 2 years is a long time in football, especially when you're saying he'll retire in 4 years' time rather than saying he's going to retire in 2 years' time.
So okay. So just for the record, I'm fucking mental for saying that. I think he'd be washed up. Not washed up. That's the wrong way of saying it. He'd be retired by the time he's 25. Right, that's mental, but it's reasonable to say 27.
No, I still don't think it's reasonable to say 27, but I think it's obviously more reasonable to say 27 rather than 25.
Right. I think he'll be done either. All right, by 27, I think he'll be done. I hope I'm wrong. I absolutely hope he proves me wrong. I really do. But it's week in, week out. There seems to be something with this guy.
Do you think Reece James will retire by the time he's 27?
Reece James. Don't know enough about him to comment on it.
But he's had a lot worse injuries than Oamuni, and he's missed a lot more time. Even like Kieran Tierney's a good example. Donny Neagle says Kieran Tierney has missed some amount of time of football, and he's missed way more than Bamidele, and he's what? Kieran Tierney, he's open 30, like, and he's still playing. Like, I don't, if Andy Bamidele had done his ACL once and done it again, or done his Achilles once and done it again, I would understand why you were saying this. But I just don't think with the injuries he's had,
He hasn't. He can't get a run though. That's the problem. Okay, like anyway, we'll move on because we're going to get to the comments. We'll get back to it, I'm sure. There's some interesting comments there from Bill, who I'll be. I'm going to call him on a couple of things now. So don't worry, Bill. I'll get to you. Anyway,
but you can put anyone can put in the comments. Is it mad to think to say he's retired in the next 2 years?
2 or 4 years.
2 or 4 years. Is it mad to say in the next 2 to 4 years he'll retire from football altogether?
He's not going to see the prime of his career, I don't think. That's my opinion. Right, on to the comments. Right, TCM says, we're all Roma fans. Yes, we are. Although, Gary D, I've just seen the highlights, but as you just said, the shot at the keeper he took was a bullet.
Yep.
There you go. Frank says, and Frank is a subscriber, by the way, on Lansdowne Roar Plus. Hold on, where are we? We've so much shit here. There we go. Roar Plus, lads, $4.99 wherever you are. And if you really want to be a Roma fan, if you really, really, really want to be a Roma fan, if you sign up now before the 31st of August midnight, basically before the 1st of September, you go into a free draw to win a Roma jersey, and you can get that lad's name on it. So there you go. So yeah, let's get in on that. After this weekend, hungry game can't come quick enough. Come on, you boys in green, says Frank. Good man, Frank. Now watch the week before that. Now they all get bloody injured. Fiona and Darcy. Sorry. What are your predictions for each game of the World Cup qualifiers? Oh Jesus.
Win. No, I do think we'll. I think we'll win. Beat Hungary at home. Beat Armenia away. Draw Portugal at home. Beat Armenia at home. Lose to Portugal away, and draw with Hungary away. Oh, by the way, Dave, I'm after going through. I just went through Oamuni's 23-24. Another move. The year he moved to Forest, so it was his first year there, and last year he left. Yeah. He was fit for that full season.
Okay,
which is a quite. I actually thought he would have been injured, but according to transfer market, he was fit the whole season.
Still don't think he's going to see the best years of his career.
Okay,
but anyway,
what's your predictions?
I pretty much go with that. I think we'll draw with Portugal at home, though. I think we'll draw with Portugal at home, and I think we'll draw with them away. I'm going to be quite positive, but I think we'll draw with Hungary at home and away. I think we're going to get a draw with Portugal, draw with Hungary, and beat Armenia home and away. And sure, I think it'd be goal difference then, won't it? There you go. That's a bit of positivity. When is a new jersey coming out? Martin would be the one to ask about that, wouldn't he? No idea.
I don't think Martin would know either. I don't know if they're...
Either one. Will Festi start the upcoming games, Conor, quickly?
No, I don't think so. Like, you probably know the same and only got. It's just, I think it'll be more season impact sub, maybe.
Yeah, he's actually a really good impact sub, to be fair. Mega J-Dog 1995. Does Honohan get called up to the left back position with Brady injured? He's been brilliant in Europe. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think of that. That's a shout, isn't it? Or maybe for Armenia, maybe not Hungary though.
I just don't think he'll be picked. I'd love to see him picked. I think he would deserve to be picked. I just think they'll go with 2 left backs this camp, and they'll go with Manning and O'Dowda, because Manning will obviously come back as a left back. But yeah, I just think they'll go with the other 2 over Honohan, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Gubbins, well, that's great to listen to you as always. Thank you very much, Aaron. And he's also subscribing. By the way, Mega, you're a subscriber too. Thank you very much, by the way, for subscribing to Roar Plus. And any one of you guys, whoever subscribes to Roar Plus, a big thank you. It really does help. Apologies, I think we missed out on the state of play last week. We were away, but we're going to make it up to you this week. So, and we got another Raw Retro on the way to you. Well, thank you. It's brilliant support. Aaron, well, that's great to see you as always. It was very impressive Ferguson against Bologna. It was very unlucky not to score in the first 20 minutes. Should have got a beautiful assist if it wasn't for Conor. Ryan McDonald, Orty had the Ferencváros game on the other night, and O'Dowda was shocking. Why isn't Moran on?
or Cod?
Absolute cap, yeah, Cod. Or House, is Joe Hodge a contention for a call up? Because I don't think Moran would get called up, and with Smallbone not getting his game. What you reckon? Tondela?
I think it's probably a bit too soon to say he's going to get called up.
Aaron Gubbins, brilliant to see Andrews and Collins Kelleher keeping clean sheet. People saying Andrews would be the first manager sacked. Have a look at the useless manager Potter. They were shit.
Aaron.
Good man, Aaron. They were terrible. I watched that game in Budapest on Friday, and when the goal got disallowed to make it 2-2 or 2-1, sorry, to West Ham, that was it. Their heads just dropped, didn't it? Boom.
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch all of it, and I kept walking past the pubs going home to my hotel, and anytime I walked past the window, the match was on. The score just kept going up and up and up. Or our house, did you see Roma fans are already comparing Ferguson to Roma legends?
Yep.
Get in, lad. John O'Mahony, any hidden games, gems in League 1, 2 we should be aware of? And why is Conor Robinson still at Cardiff? He's on a big contract there, didn't he?
Yeah, I just don't think could be able to shift him. I'd say he's probably just happy with the money. I'd say there was no relegation clause probably in his contract either, because they wouldn't have been expecting to. But League 1 and League 2, maybe someone like that, but I don't think like Millie Ali at Luton's an excellent player.
Yeah.
Jack Moylan at Lincoln, even though I think he's out injured now, but a lot of people know him from his time at Shells, his top class. And then League 2, James Cabey is actually doing really well, actually. Cork fans probably aren't the biggest fans, but he's doing quite well there. And when Zach Kilsennan gets back fit for Grimsby as well, I think he'll do really, really well there. So, yeah, I'd say probably them four. Jamie Mullins as well at Wickham. He's an outstanding young player, but he's still very young. So we'll hear a lot more of him in a couple of years. But yeah, Jamie Mullins is top class.
Well, Connor's the man to go to on Rep Tracker there. Rep Tracker on Twitter if you want more of those, John. Connor is the man in the know. Our house, is Barry getting a call up? Louis Barry. We reckon he is.
I don't think he will, to be honest.
No?
I just don't know where does he fit in. I think if he's called up, he'll be there. But I just don't want to keep. I'd like to see him call up, but Dave, I don't know where he fits in.
Fair. Aaron Gubbins also was very impressed without doubt in the Champions League playoff. Lads, what's going on? He's either terrible or good. I'm not sure what's happening. Adam O'Neill, another subscriber, by the way. Adam, thank you very much. The form of Ferguson and Parrott at the moment could be the difference in us qualifying or not. Good point. Correct. Our house, did you figure out how Sirkin can play for Azerbaijan?
It's because his dad was born in a region of Turkey that lets you play for Azerbaijan, but he's not switched. There's never been anything that's actually confirmed he switched, so he's not switched. And he's out injured at the moment anyway. He's not called up or for anyone, and he can't play for anyone because I've seen he's out injured and he's not. Actually, on Alan Bryan, I know you're on about Alan Bryan making his Premier League debut. I don't think it's going to happen. The manager said he sat down with him and spoke to him, basically telling him that you're not going to play here. You're probably better off moving on.
What, to Alan Brown?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Leave, Alan. Leave. No,
I feel bad for him. Because the thing is, he's probably on a lot of money. He would have got a lot of money last summer for moving to them, on a big contract. Because I don't think they would have expected to actually go up last season. They would expect to probably challenge for playoffs, and he's the sort of player that will do well at that sort of team. But now they're in the Premiership, unfortunately, they've brought in bigger and better players.
Brought 12 players, didn't they?
Yeah, and it's growing. It'll be probably double up at the end of the transfer window.
Yeah. Do you think Ida will play much again for Celtic? Dublin Drunken Sailors.
Yeah. He's still there being number 9. I know he's going through a rough patch at the moment, but he still is. He'll probably start. I'd say he'll start in Kazakhstan on Wednesday, I think it is.
Aaron Gubbins. I have a feeling with Dybala. When Dybala, probably watching.
That's right. Yeah.
Is back in the team. He will help Ferguson score goals. Roma fans were raving about him on Insta. Greg Lucky. Hi lads. Another subscriber, by the way. Thank you very much, Greg. Hi lads, I'd just like to call Conor up on his prediction that Meepo would tear up the League of Ireland. He was really bad in front of goal the other night. Not just about another one of Conor's boys shitting bed.
Did he score, Dave? He still scored in the game. After that, it showed a good mental. It did. In fairness, he hasn't scored as many goals as I thought he would have so far this season, but he still played well, and he did. In fairness, he missed a penalty and then he went and scored the key goal, put them 2-0 up, and yeah, he still is actually playing well in these games. You can see his quality he has. It's just more consistent in front of goal, really. But actually, it was good to see him get that goal after. And in fairness, he did slip for the pen. I don't. Did you see the game on Thursday night? I only seen the second half because I was doing something, and
I was traveling.
Yeah, I
I
was
was actually in the air.
I was doing a hike on Thursday, so it missed. Ended up going on later than I thought. So I had to watch the second half on the phone. But yeah, he actually played. I thought he played well, so I wouldn't say he hasn't done. Greg, you're acting like you're acting like I've said a player that has kicked the ball about twice, please. I think he's still doing well for Chelsea.
Our house can definitely see Evan have the same impact McTominay had with Napoli, because just looking at that Roma team, they have some quality to win the Serie A. Hopefully. E, is there any way to work Parrott and Ferguson to the team without messing up the midfield?
It probably is. Like, you could definitely work away, but I just don't think it's worth the gamble again in September after that mess in Luxembourg.
Not against Hungary at home, definitely. Maybe Armenia away. I don't know. But they should be able to play together. You play Parrott behind Ferguson. Like, the perfect for it.
The problem is, Dave, when you say that, like, as we play with that 3-4-2-1, say it's you're on the right wing back, it's Ogbene, and the left wing back, it would have been Brady, so maybe Manning, and then you have Cullen and Knight, most likely. And then you have the 2 10s, say it was behind Ferguson or Parrott. The right one is always Finn Azaz, usually. And then who are you going to have on the left? Smodics. So then you're going to have to say, or Johnson, Smodics or Johnson, one of the two. So you're going to have to say, you're going to have to leave Smodics and Johnson out, or Smodics and Azaz out.
If you played a 4-4-2, I think you could play the two of them together with the wingers.
But the way we've seen, I know defensively we go into a 4-4-2, but I think if you look the way we have the ball, it's like a 3-4-2-1. I just don't think, especially because the thing is, we could even say, for example, go in that say it was a 3-4-2-1, and you could have Ogbene as the wing back or McAteer as the wing back, and play one of them higher up as one of them 10s behind Ferguson or Parrott, which means that maybe you might only have Azaz as like that left 10 or Smodics. So maybe I think he may do that actually come the Hungry game, just for extra legs and players that can carry the ball, even though we'll probably have a bit more possession, I'd say, at home against them. I still think you probably need them sort of players. So I think for fitting balance wise and getting as much quality in the team as possible, there's no point really. I think probably just throwing lads in.
Okay. Greg Lockie says, my opinions based on Conor's opinions are losing credibility.
Greg, at least just follow Roar Plus.
Good man. And Aaron, of course, another Roar Plus subscriber. You can't beat Pepsi Max, Conor.
Fact.
I could tell you a story about bloody Pepsi Max yesterday in fucking Budapest. Anyway, that Brighton manager, some fool, getting rid of him. Conor, Evan Ferguson, getting rid of him depending on Welbeck, like, absolutely gobshite. And Frank, Ferguson has to be number 9 on Parrott impact sub. Probably what's going to happen, which would be very unfair on Troy Parrott, wouldn't it, considering he's the informed striker. But
yeah.
Evan's a superstar.
Evan, yeah, and he is kind of, you'd say he's probably in. I know it's one game, but he has been in form as such.
Yeah. Declan, another subscriber. Thank you, Declan. Delighted for Andrew's getting his first win yesterday. Martin, you'll be spitting feathers. Killing O'Dwyer Gaming. Will you be doing a squad prediction video? Not quite, but we will be doing a squad reaction video, Killian. So there you go.
I think me and Martin will be on live on Tuesday. Presuming Martin's alive.
Live?
We haven't heard from. Yeah, it'll be live on Tuesday evening with myself and Prendergast reacting to the Ireland squad.
There you go. And I might do my own little video.
Oh God. R.I.P.
My own video to react, because I won't be available on Tuesday to the squad. Depends what happens, but yeah, live Tuesday.
And if anyone's wondering, the 21s is out Thursday.
There you go. Scuzzy, I do believe O'Neill is very bitter. Absolutely. Aaron Gubbins, fair play to both Irish clubs in Europe, in particular Rovers. That Clare team were poor. I thought they were going to be better. Probably underestimated Rovers, to be fair. Greg O'Loughley, the young lad can't be any worse than Martinelli. Best of luck to him. Greg O'Loughley, there's also the Stephen Bradley connection with Arsenal. Yep, he was a former Ireland scout. Aaron Gubbins, and a player. Would you have Coleman in the Irish squad for advice and motivation? We both said we absolutely would. I would anyway. Yep. Ryan McDonald, will Festi make the squad? I think they'd have Johnson, Azaz, Ogbene, McAteer, and Smolic over him. I think he'd still bring him. He loves Festi, doesn't he? He'll bring him in.
Yeah. He loves Festi.
He does. Aaron Gubbins, would you ever do a show on picking your opinions, your greatest ever 11 Irish team?
Yeah,
Yes, I
we
think
will
we
do that.
will.
We were meant to be doing one actually. Remember, we went doing the draft in our best or 11. I think, which is more actually interesting because we probably with a country like Ireland, our greatest 11 would all kind of be somewhat similar in case like that
Yeah.
in opposition. But we'll do that. We're definitely doing. We're meant to do a draft one, which actually will be a good crack one to do.
Well, there's a load of content that's gonna
Yeah,
come out your way. Basically, it's just been a bit mad on the old
yeah.
personal front. The last few weeks, it's just been a bit crazy. So there's loads of stuff we wanted to do, and we are going to do. So just thank you for your patience, Donny. Nagel, never been so optimistic for Ireland. Lowell is the player we've been missing. Hope Alma's injury isn't serious. I hope so too.
Have you seen Boston well play? That's a good question.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably.
So you haven't seen the greatness yet. You haven't.
I haven't seen the greatness. No, is he?
Could you imagine? Go on.
No, go on.
Could you imagine he comes on against Hungary and scores the winner? Could you imagine the scenes in the press box?
I reckon I'd have to fucking restrain you from running onto the pitch. God, no, it's a press pass, Conor. The fucking Lanya. We don't. Greg Lockie, Aaron, a team of Andy Morans. That's Greg
Good team.
Yeah. Adam O'Neill. Adam as well, another subscriber, good man. Ipswich has become the team to watch now with all the Irish there. Yeah, them and Brentford, really. They're kind of like the two Irish teams. Greg Lockie, could Kasey play as a second number 10 rather than a wing back at a 3-4-2-1 as quick as you can, Conor?
Yeah, that's what I was saying there with the right 10. You could play Benes, stick the wing back and then have McAteer. Yeah. A lot of teams actually do that. They play like that. They play their kind of wingers as one of them 2-10s, kind of what Vata was doing last year with Watford, and Johnson has done for Ireland a bit. And actually, Ryan Manning done that for us, which was a bit depressing. But I think with the wingers we have back now, he'll go back to left back.
There you go. Now going through and LA United, yeah. Okay.
But do you know what's funny, Dave? Do you know we were all about why we've no left back and we've no thing? We were using our depth in left back to fill a void on the left wing. After all our complaining about left back.
That was hilarious. Yeah, I remember you said that, didn't we? So, yeah, the only fucking left back in the squad. Is that the same club some plays for? Said yes, yes it is. We did go through that. LAFC, for fuck's sake, says Frank. Yeah, I know. Okay, you know how I am, Frank. I add things. I give it, put a little E down here, add a little name here. Joe, LA's midfielder was injured last night, so you'd hope Moran comes in straight away. LA Rovers are the only team in LA, says E. Joe, Bristol City's owner said they need to raise money from player sales and have not received any offers for Knight yet.
That's maybe why Sinclair could possibly leave, I would say, because he's probably he's a young player of value. He's a very high potential player, so maybe that's why. But I think it would be better to get out of there. But it wouldn't. It's kind of always sad when a player goes to a club and hasn't really worked out, and he probably could even be he's still so young that he could still do well there. But I think he's probably best moving on. I do think I was saying to Martin last week on the show that if he went to a club like even Tondela or Joe Hodges, I think he'd do so well with his physical attributes. He'd take such an advantage in that league.
Fair enough. Dave, LAFC have won the MLS more recently than the LA Galaxy. I did not know that, Greg. I bow to your knowledge. Dave,
it's mad. Sorry, but it's mad. There's players like, if anyone remembers during COVID, Ricky Puig, who broke into the Barca team and was playing regularly for Barca, was doing so well for Barca, and he was unbelievable. Unfortunately, then Pedri and Gavi kind of came on the scene, but he is an outstanding player. If he played for Ireland, he'd be our best midfielder probably since Roy Keane, to be honest, in terms of talent wise. And he's he's playing regularly for LA Galaxy over there. So it's people act like the leagues in MLS. I know there's a question marks about competitiveness in terms of not having relegation and stuff, and the fact it's playing in the middle of the night. But I do think it's a bit mad for some people to say he's going to a league that basically is like playing maybe in Saudi or something where it's just mercenaries. It still is a high standard.
Okay. Dave, no need. Everybody who's watched Andy knows he's different gravy in the right system. But the kiss of death statement may be true. I'm telling you. Fucking telling you. The amount of players. That'd be some five-a-side team, that, wouldn't it? Josh Keeley shitting himself, right? Will we be watching Ireland in the World Cup at 3 a.m.? If we do get to the World Cup, I hope we're at it. Hopefully, we won't be watching at 3 a.m., but hopefully be watching us at 3 a.m. over there. We hope.
Just when the World Cup was on there, was everyone watching at 3 a.m. when it was in California, or did they adjust game times to countries that were playing?
In USA 94,
Yeah.
I remember the games were on. I think the Italy game was on at night. For members like New Jersey. I was in New Jersey. That was they're 5 hours ahead. So if I remember, I think that was like a 10 o'clock. So I remember it was like, I'm trying to remember. It was like a 9 o'clock kickoff over here, but there were games on at night time.
But New Jersey's a big difference in terms of time zone, just for us. Like even when you watch, say, for watching basketball or something, or even a
5
UFC
hours.
card, if it's in New York or somewhere like that, it's earlier in the night. But then when it goes to playing on the West Coast for LA, it's always like 3:30 starts. So it probably just depend what, like if we're there, what cup of state they're in.
It depends. I remember when they had Ireland against. I remember the Mexico game. I'm trying to think actually what time that was over here, but that was 40. I think that was like 43 degrees. Ireland were playing Mexico on 43 degree temperature. And did you ever see those stadiums back then? There was no cover. They were just, the open American football stadiums. Yeah. So there was people actually passing out, Irish fans passing out in the in the seats. Like I know a couple of people that went to it. I think they would adjust it slightly. Like you'd want to have them later on. They'd have to be. Yeah. If you have a World Cup in the United States, that has to be like fucking 10 p.m. matches over there because the heat is incredible. And I think as well for the fans over here, the European audience. But anyway, Frank, LAFC is way better team than LA Galaxy these days. They have a gorgeous brand new stadium close to the city, backed by Will Ferrell, Magic Johnson, Mia Hamm, Had Bale, Chiellini, Vela and Giroud, etc. Okay.
Yeah. Like even Olivier Giroud's come back to Europe.
He did, didn't he?
He's 100 years old.
Oliver Giroud. Tony and I, I'll keep an eye on Andy for you, Conor. Oh,
good man, Tony.
Another subscriber as well, Greg Lockie. I'd be more worried about Andy's mentality of going to the MLS, taking easy route. I'm thinking. Andy doing some pre-World Cup recce's, love it. Says Donny Nagel, Conor, can you make everyone feel even better by announcing Dewsbury Hall or any new Granny Rule player to be in the squad on Tuesday? Come on, Conor.
Could you imagine the scenes that Dewsbury Hall was announced on Tuesday? I would honestly think we'll win the World Cup because he would. I think that's the one Irish eligible player that would make such an unbelievable difference for us. Not just because he's a midfielder, just the quality he has.
You think we'll win the World Cup anyway? By the way, 1,500 of you watching us tonight live. Thank you very much for your support. Excuse me. I'd rather he went to the MLS than Preston. Yeah, I think there's a bit of merit in that as well, as you said, Conor.
Sorry, Dave, just we have a video tomorrow coming out about eligible players that could help Ireland with the World Cup, by the way. Just to keep an eye on that for anyone who wants a video on that tomorrow.
That will be coming out tomorrow, yes. Tony in LA thinks it as well. You'd like to see Andy in the MLS rather than Championship side, which I do understand. Greg Lockie, can he still go on loan after this, or is he stuck in Brighton reserves? Can he go on loan again? I think it's two loans, isn't it?
It's two, but you can only play for two clubs in one season. But he hasn't played for Brighton's first team this season. Pre-season doesn't count towards that, so you wouldn't have to worry. But I would be surprised. The problem is though, Dave, isn't it? If, say, for example, he goes and tears it up in MLS or does really well, it would be by far his most successful loan move so far. And sometimes you want a player's happy at a place and they've seen the best of themselves so far in men's football, might be settling. He might think, I might sign here permanently, which we don't want him to do really for the long term. But the thing is, if a player, say, like if he goes to MLS and becomes one of the best like attack midfielders, it's not a negative because it's still a high standard. Like,
fair enough. Frank goes, play with Son. Bunaga, am I saying it right? Bunaga, Lloris, or Preston North End? Is this a real question? When you put it like that, Frank. Joe, Dewsbury Hall was brilliant today. We could do with him, to say the least. Frank also says, Conor Rowan isn't playing enough in MLS and plays for a poor team. Frank continues, LA Galaxy won MLS Cup last year and are now in last place in 30th. Jesus. Joe, who are the next League of Ireland player to go for big money? Elding and Honohan, quickly?
I'd say Elding and Michael Noonan. Just because of Honahan's contract situation. But yeah, it's Elding and Michael Noonan.
Yeah. Tony in LA, I think it's a great move for Moran if the option is there to return in December, says Tony. Kieran, Conor, don't lie deep down. You're good at that. He's gone to MLS, says Kieran. No. He is. He's fucking raging. He thought he'd be playing in fucking Barcelona somewhere or in Syria. Greg Lockie. Can't believe Jason Knight has 39 caps. I know, right? Baylor, is the Ireland squad announcement on Tuesday? Yes, it is, Baylor. It is indeed. And we are live. Martin doesn't know it yet, but we are. He's probably watching this going, oh, fuck. We're going to be live on Tuesday. So if we don't, you can blame Martin. Martin Fitzpatrick, great stuff, lads. Thank you, Martin, as always.
Good man, Martin.
Greg, good man. Greg Lucky, were you in Madeira for the unveiling of Christian Hallow's new waxwork, Conor?
No, I actually seen that, but I actually went to his museum in Madeira. It was actually quite cool. It was very interesting. Crazy the amount of trophies, like individual trophies and collective trophies. This one is crazy when you go and you see all these things in person. It's crazy what a player has achieved. Yeah, but yeah, there was a chocolate statue from there, which was actually quite cool. Yeah, made out of chocolate. It was mad.
With Eze gone to Arsenal, if Palace were going to go for Zaz, you would think the time is now. And Dewsbury Hall and Cullen in the centre next month wouldn't be bad. Wishful thinking.
Yeah. We've got to talk about, actually, Dave, transfer news. Azaz to Southampton. They put a £12 million bid in for him and Middlesbrough rejected it, wasn't it? They wanted more than 12 million. We didn't.
It's a sideways move, isn't it?
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's side. It is a step up, but it's like going
slightly.
it's going from the third step to the fourth step of the stairs, like basically, because the reality is they have a good chance of going back up, but like Southampton or a yo-yo club in the Premiership at this stage.
He would, if he got promoted with Southampton, he'd be dropped because a player like him cannot play for a team like Southampton in the Premier League, where you need 10 men behind the ball. It's not going to happen. Yeah. I think I like Finn Azaz. I think he's a super player, but I do think he's a luxury player. He's a bit of an old school luxury player, like a bit of. I'm not comparing. I'm not saying he's the same quality, but it reminds me of a bit of a Tissier or a Glenn.
He's a Wes Hoolahan type. He's that type. Yeah, Wes Hoolahan could never do it in the Premier. He's 10 men behind the ball. Like, you can't expect of these type of players.
He's the sort of guy like that. You play, a bit like when Coutinho was playing. I'm not comparing to Coutinho either, but like when he was playing behind. Do you remember Mane, Salah, and Bobby? Like he was that guy that those three lads had the pace. They do what they do, but if you needed something, just a little extra dimension, Coutinho would do something. He was more like the technical player. But anyway,
but Dave, there's no way. There's no way that Southampton are offering that money from, and there's teams in the Serie A or Bundesliga or La Liga aren't offering that same money from, or like a Porto or a Benfica. There's just no way that Southampton's offering that sort of money, and teams in Italian top flight aren't offering that.
What are LA Galaxy offering for?
2 cigars and
all right. Let's
picture
get
of LeBron James.
We have a lot of comments here. We got to finish it up in the next 20 minutes or so. AX2, will there be any new names to the under-21 squad? A Banquet and Bata to drop down. Where is Kevin Zeffy? Answer him.
Where is Kevin Zeffy? Question. I don't know.
Great question.
He's not. He's definitely not with the squad. Like, he hasn't played football. He's technically not played with a club, so he's not gonna. He's still a Roma player, but he's not with the squad as such. A Banquet, Banquet will definitely drop back down, even though he's done nothing wrong. It's just the other lads are playing at a higher level. Fata, I expect to as well. Maybe a player, I'd say Romeo Akachukwu will come up to the squad. I think Joe Bryan Whitmarsh is out injured. Maybe Trent Kona-Doherty or Ike Arazi. I'm trying to think who else. Mason Mealy will be back in the squad after being injured. Defenders wise, maybe Senna Mullen. I know he's gone out on loan to Serie B, but he hasn't played so far at that club he's gone to. But yeah, there'll definitely be a couple of new names, but I wouldn't say maybe. I don't think there'll be any, for example, like a Granny Ruler or something like that will come in with a name we haven't heard of. I think it'll just be someone that's promoted from maybe an under-19 squad or like a Vata coming back down.
Okay. Donny Nagel, Ferguson has gone from Potter to Gasparini, surely the biggest managerial jump possible. Baylor, would Kasey McAteer be starting over Benny at Ipswich? I mean, he got the nod yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Greg Unlucky, Gasparini could be the making of Evan Ferguson with the way he likes fullbacks to fizz balls in early.
Yeah.
AX2, we were on our knees for Jack McGlynn 12 months ago from the MLS. We shouldn't turn our nose up at Moran now. That's a fair point. Baylor, is the Victor lad who signed a pre-contract more rated over Melia as he got the higher price tag, or is it rather his age position in the question?
I'd say it's more to the second point. Because I don't know how you can be more like highly rated than Mason Wheatley, if you get me. Because there's no one really of his age what he's doing in Europe, if you get me. I think it's more of the. Go on.
I think Mason Wheatley just opened the door.
Yeah.
He's opened the floodgates. That's what I think. You just think, you need that one. You need the trailblazer. And I think Mason Wheatley's the trailblazer where, hold on a second, lads, we should be getting 7-figure sums for some of these players. And that's going to open the floodgates. And I think this is now you're going to see this happening. And you're finally going to see League of Ireland teams getting the money that they deserve, not fucking 50 grand. And
I don't want to say the name, but there's a certain academy player at Shamrock Rovers who may be a year younger than Victor, that if he goes around the same route of moving to England at 18 rather than going abroad at 16, he may be the first Irish player to hit close to 5 million.
There you go. 2 million. Yeah, 2 million. Gone 1 million, 2 million. These things spiral, man.
Yeah.
And the more players that go from the League of Ireland to the Premier League and impress, it's just going to get crazy. It's going to be a lovely little, and it's really good if we actually have a decent League of Ireland and these young lads can develop in Ireland now and it can actually grow the league. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's sad though when you look back to say because Kevin Zeffy was thought that highly of when he was that age and kind of had no option but to go to Inter at the time because it was kind of seen that you don't stay in Ireland and it's not a good pathway to stay in Ireland until you're 18. And he would say himself he would have been better off staying in Ireland and hopefully breaking through the first team football and then making that move. So I think obviously players are learning from past mistakes of others.
Yeah. Kelleher, Doherty, Collins, O'Brien, Scales, Cullen, Lawal, Azaz, Ferguson, Ogbeni, Paris, 4-2-3. Well, that's what Donny wants to see.
Not skills at left back, please, Donny. Not skills at left back.
Not Greg Alonki, Coleman are captains who will definitely be in the squad. I agree. Mark Fitzpatrick, Ellie Andy, don't forget your cleats. Baylor, another loan for Harry Vaughan, or is he going to break into the whole side this season quickly?
I think he should, but I think he probably might have to go along just the way the championship is. Just he's a bit of an Andy Moran, too small in terms of size for a manager to really trust him, which is a problem with the championship. But yeah, actually, I forgot to say about Cathal McCarthy. Cathal McCarthy picked up his leaving results on Friday morning, and on Saturday made his championship debut for Hull City, starting played. And I know they lost 3-0 to Blackburn, but he played 90 minutes centre half for Hull. And I remember we speaking about Dave about they're comparing him to Busquets in pre-season on his debut, and obviously he played centre half. That's where he played at UCD, and then he's gone in there and they've used him as a number 6 for pre-season. And when he played, I think he's only played once for 21s because he's been on the bench for the first team. But then Charlie Hughes is their natural centre half alongside John Egan was out injured, so Cahill went in as centre after and he done well in fairness. 18, it's not no mean feat. Going from League of Ireland first division to Championship football is a humongous step up in terms of quality wise, but it shows how highly he's thought of. And yeah, he could end up in Thursday's under 21 squad. So hopefully he can keep developing because that's a massive accomplishment and fair play to him.
Absolutely. Greg Lucky, is Keely still eligible for the under 21s? If so, you get more game time there. Is he?
No, he's not. He's not. It's the next under 21 group is players born after 2000 and from 2004 up. So a bank was 2004, so his age bracket up. Keely's 2003.
Okay. Baylor, Conor, do you see any Ireland under 21 Prem players breaking into the first team for an appearance or two?
We don't have that many. The problem, there's a lot of them because it used to be they'd all go to the Premier League 2 teams basically. Like whenever like Andy went and Evan went, they were 16-year-olds one, but now because it's 18-year-olds, no, I don't think anyone will really come through because there's not that many. There's actually not that many compared to what I used to be Friday nights when there was Premier League 2 games on. Used to go through basically every single club and you'd have players playing with everyone. I think Sean Keogh, who recently moved from Dundalk to Brighton, will be one in the future, but just obviously it's too early yet. But yeah, I can't think of anyone really this season that might get that level because I think a lot of them are still quite young in terms of that, and it'll more lads will have to go out and loan first. But yeah, I don't think I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Okay, and that's where we get into the Amabamba Delhi debate. Scuzzy, I don't think it's crazy. He really is struggling with injuries. Greg Lucky, Luke Shaw was out for a year, then still played in the Euro final. Yeah, he did. And then says, it's outrageous, Dave. What, that he played in a Euro final? Or, no, I kid. I have a feeling, Greg, what you said.
He scored in it as well.
That's right, he did. IFB Media Bill. They doesn't pay his bets anyway, so no point, Conor. That bet that actually we won because we had to, what was it? What was it? We had to prove that a reporter would report on Kelleher signing for Man United, Martin and I, and actually Martin got a reporter for the Sun. What was it? It was a newspaper.
He said tier one. He said a tier
Yeah,
one. Tier
what the fuck is tier one? Like, I've never heard a reporter, and I have to call it because he's calling me out, so I have to. Bill, sorry, you're calling me out there, and people can see that, so I have to defend myself and Martin as well, and kind of for the bullshit statement here. But Martin showed that a top or a large publication did report that United were interested in signing Kelleher. And he went, oh, it has to be tier one. Whatever the fuck tier one is, never heard a reporter ever call it tier one, but there you go.
You're just out of the loop, Dave. That's your problem.
You're
just out of the loop.
Maybe I am. Gerard McCann. I often think about what might have been if Almost Shot Serbia had gone in.
Same.
God, I can't remember. That was during COVID lockdown, wasn't it?
No. It was at the Viva. We drew 0-0. It was Omobamidele's full debut for Ireland. I think it was the game. Was it the game after we played Portugal away?
No, it was 1-1.
Who scored?
The one in Dublin. We got like
they went 1-0 up, didn't they? Or did they?
Yeah,
not
we were
up?
terrible. But the crowd started to really get behind thing. Kenny, yeah, they started singing Kenny Wonderland, and I actually remember sending that video footage of a good friend of mine, Carl, who was in the crowd that night.
Oh yes, Milankovic that plays for Southampton. Sorry, Nottingham Forest scored an own goal. Yeah. And Sergio Milinkovic scored that day. He was unbelievable that day. Remember, he was so good. He was class. And people, Dave, just want to not to. People say our Ireland team has improved. The Ireland team that day was 2021, so 4 years ago, September 2021. So basically 4 years ago compared to Bazunu and Nets when Bazunu was basically a baby. Omobamidele as a baby, basically playing. Shane Duffy, he was finished then, basically. John Egan, who was in his peak, in fairness, he was very good at the time. Doherty, who was in his peak, but he wasn't good for it. Or maybe was he past his peak in 2021? It was more 2019, 2020 when he's at his best. Jamie McGrath, just a decent player. Wouldn't get near that squad now with the way. Cullen, obviously a good player, and he's still there now. Jeff Hendrick was washed up then. James McLean was kind of still washed then, to be honest. I was just before I was still at Wigan. Alan Brown started that day, and a baby version of Adamida started that day. So our team has improved a lot since. And like players on the bench that day, Dave, remember James Talbot, the Bows keeper, was in that squad. Harry Arter was done then even. Cyrus Christie, Darrell Horgan, Conor Howrahan, James Collins came on that day. Like James Collins, Callum Robinson, Conor Howrahan, and Jason Malumbi came on that day. Like people say our squad hasn't improved. There's a night and day difference from that squad to now. I think, Dave, do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's much improved, absolutely much improved. Gregor Lockie, Van Basten had numerous ankle surgeries. Yes, he did in '94. Blueco has him signed until 2001. Who's Blueco?
The Chelsea and Strasbourg owners.
Fair enough. In fairness to Dave, Conor, and I think Omobamidele is a fabulous footballer, but anyone remember Keith O'Neill banged in a couple of goals for Ireland before injury just destroyed him? That's right. We spoke about it earlier on. Liam Hewitt, I'm a Cork City fan. I want all Irish teams to do well in Europe. High tide raises all ships. The stupid how fans can't see past that.
Fact.
IFB Media, almost 23 years of age and has played 82 senior club games and 10 international games. You wouldn't be one to be hyperbolic, Sir Dave.
Hey, he's got you.
Not really. I mean, in terms of hyperbolic, I remember when Roar Plus was announced, but anyway, Donny Nagel, Reece James and Kieran Tierney have had horrendous injury issues, but both are fit now. Almost just needs to run. Keep morale. Reece James is a very good example. Liam Hewitt is same as Celtic having a laugh at Rangers doing shite, even though it affects Scotland's coefficient and in turn makes it harder for them both to qualify. Gregor Lockie, Almo has 4 years before he hits peak for defender Van Dijk. Only got to the Premier League at 26. He could easily find a physio that works for him and everything changes. You know, I did say that could actually happen, but I think that could still limit his international career, because if you have him playing, you know, you're paying his wage, you're going to say to him, you know, I don't want you playing for your country. Reece James, a lot of Reece James stuff here. Fair enough. I don't think it's mad if the injuries continue. I do think he's a very good player, though. If the injuries get sorted, no, I'm cheering for him as well. AX2, a footballer is never retiring in the 20s unless they are on the end of multiple ACL injuries. There's too much money in football for a player to retire before they're 30, says AX2.
Agreed.
Tony in LA, I think Amabamidele will be fine if he gets a run. I'm just saying the football graveyard is full of players with brilliant potential. Yes, it is. AX2, just look at Jack Wilshere. He couldn't get on the pitch at all, but still signed multiple contracts. Luke Shaw is another one over previous years. Keith Morrell, Evan Ferguson, another example. Sometimes it's a simple change in lifestyle. Giggs had an ongoing issue with his calf, apparently down to the position of seeing a sports car. I think a few of them had that as well, didn't they? I remember David Beckham had a back injury with his tooth when he went to AC Milan. It was actually his tooth. Get Louis Barry in ahead of Adam Ida, says Bill. AX2. Neymar is still playing too. He's played about Neymar.
Yeah, Neymar.
He's played about 5 games in 3 years. I would say he's doing it for the money, though. I say his bank account is all right. Yep. And Stevens to League of Ireland. Surely he won't bother.
He was linked ages ago, but I don't. Is he linked again? Has his links come back up? Because I know, what you remember, he was linked to them. He was linked to Rovers and Pats. But it just never happened. But I'll check now.
Okay. Joe Sancho would have been brilliant. Oh, what's happened there?
What's wrong?
My screen has frozen.
Don't worry. Sancho, can you see Sancho? I put it up for you.
Yeah. Sancho would have been brilliant with Ferguson. He's a money-hungry clown. There we go. Aaron Gubbins, would you do a video for each of our opposition teams, like key facts, like their key players that closely play for interesting points? Do you reckon?
Yeah, before. We'll do on Hungary and Armenia before them 2 games. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll do before each international break. We'll do that. Before each international game.
Beatrice, Gabrielli, Forza Roma Ferguson. Good stuff there, Beatrice. Welcome to Lansdowne Roar. Hope you're well. Gregor Lockie, Dewsbury Hall has been playing as 10. Is he better as a proper midfielder? Haven't seen much of him, to be honest. I haven't seen much of him, to be honest, either.
He's quite versatile. He's quite versatile. Play him as an 8 or a 10. Just not, he's not a 6. Like, you couldn't really play him there. But yeah.
If it's being realistic, the MLS is comparable to the Belgian league, which you hoped for Andrew to move to. Connor.
Yeah, it's a fair point, yeah.
And Beatrice Gabrielli telling us Super Ferguson. She loves him. Kieran, would you start Šmonić against Hungary?
I don't know. I think he will start, because it seems that when we play our full team as such, Šmonić, if you say by 4-4-2, Šmonić plays left mid into that left 10, and then maybe Ogbene or McAteer on the right, and then it'll be Azaz and Ferguson. So yeah, I think he will start. But I don't know if Johnson scores again next weekend, he is a very valid point to play and starting.
Fair enough. Joe, Azaz is like a shitter Fernandez.
Well, he doesn't run about crying.
Well, yeah, I mean, or he's put off by a referee. IFB Media, happy to post the screenshots for public to decide. Absolutely not, because that's a private conversation, Bill. Because what's the point in having a private conversation on WhatsApp? We're going to just start posting screenshots everywhere. When a few emojis upset you, is it? Wasn't just a few emojis, but anyway. Alan Green, Bosun Lawal, and Mahi to strengths in our midfield, which is weak area. AX2. I see Rooney's son is making headlines over the weekend. Would he be eligible for Ireland like his father? Plenty of Irish lads at Ireland. At United, I meant.
No, Kai Rooney's not eligible.
It's not because
it's Rooney's grandparents.
Yeah.
Wayne's not. Yeah, it was Wayne. So Kai, unless on Colleen's side, unless she's an Irish parent or something, but I don't think she does.
Fair. Right. Okay. Well, that is the end of another live episode, Connor. It's good to be back.
you know they're going to extend it by 30 seconds to get up to the 2-hour mark, just to hit the magic 2-hour number. But yeah, it's good to be back, isn't it? It's good to finally, after what was, because I ended up forgetting about stuff that happened midweek because there was so much to decipher. And yeah, but sure, we're going to have squad reaction. Obviously, with that video tomorrow, for the I5 eligible players, and then the squad is out Tuesday, which is taking place actually at the Sky headquarters, not in Abbottstown, which is quite, which is different. I don't know what, maybe it's just sponsorship wise.
Sky where's the Sky headquarters? Are you going down to it?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it's in the middle of Dublin city centre, somewhere in Dublin city centre. I don't know where exactly because I wouldn't know the streets, but yeah, it's in the city centre of Dublin. I'm guessing it's probably due to sponsorship reasons with their sponsoring the jerseys for the World Cup qualifiers, unless maybe the Heimer walks out with a jersey on him to announce it. But other than that, yeah, and then we'll have League of Ireland, obviously, because it's a massive Thursday. Is going to be one of the biggest nights probably in League of Ireland European football history. Last year we did have it. In fairness, we had Rovers qualifying, and then we had Pats in the playoff round against Istanbul Başakşehir. But they weren't. They were 0-0 ahead in the second leg. We have two teams. Shells are 3-1 up, heavy favourites still, but obviously it's not going to be easy up at Windsor Park. And then Shamrock Rovers have a 2-1 lead heading into Tallinn. So it's a lot to be hopeful for, and I can't wait. Dave, can you?
No, hopefully we're going to have two teams in the Europa Conference, £4 million each. Be fantastic, especially for Shells. They need the money, big time.
Yeah,
you know, all that money going into Shamrock Rovers, incredible. But now, hopefully, fantastic. We're going to have a good squad. Going to have a good couple of games in the Europa Conference. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to this video coming out tomorrow as well. Of course, don't forget, Conor and I will have a League of Ireland episode for you. And any other breaking news, I'm sure we will have it covered. And of course, we're going to have a Raw Retro on Raw Plus. If you want to support the page, it's $4.99. Wherever you are, whatever currency you have, it is $4.99. It's a great way to support. And a big thank you to you guys that do support the page. And if you join before the 1st of September, you go into a draw to win a free Roma jersey. And of course, Forza Roma. Beatrice, if you're watching, I'm sure, as you are, if you go to Raw Plus, you can get you can go to the draw for a Roma jersey. But there you go. Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't already, guys, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Head out to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. And if you want, head over to our nice. Sorry, Conor just sending me a WhatsApp there. Head over to our website, which is lansdowneroad.ie, if you want opinion. Okay, we're going to leave it there. I am David Dunn. He is Conor McAvoy. This is Lansdowne Roar. Join us on Tuesday for another bit of Lansdowne Roar. Sorry, Moran, if you're watching, but it's going to happen. Anyway, we're out there. Good night. God bless.